Good morning, everyone. You're listening to That's What They Said on WJLB 1230 AM, 104.7 FM in Hammond, Indiana. And you're also watching live here on YouTube. We finally have a correct graphic. Part of it was, I was like, that's only for summer. And the other part of it was like, do I want to go in Photoshop and block out the name?
Right.
But it's all right. We got it now. So let's get started. Larry should be joining us soon.
Yes, good morning.
That train probably right here.
Yeah.
Is the fatal flaw.
Yeah.
But we got some traffic and weather going here, so it's hot. It is 73 degrees right now in the region, but it is going to be 95 today as a high, 74 as a low, mostly sunny and hot. Cautions advised for outside for extended periods of time. Whoop, there's an ad. We love that. Continuing on into the rest of the day, we're just seeing some clear skies today. No thunderstorms on Wednesday. Highs of 96 degrees, lows of 76, sunshine and hot, partly cloudy and very warm. On Thursday, highs of 92 degrees, lows of 71 degrees. Thunderstorm around in the PM and a clear, warm, humid night. And we're just seeing 90-degree temperatures all the way up until about Saturday. And then we may cool down just a little bit with mid-80s during the rest of the week. Taking a look at traffic in the Northwest region. There's no traffic. Everything is looking great. You may see a little bit of traffic in the downtown area on 94 going west right there at 43rd Street, but nothing too crazy. 80 going east and west is looking good. 90 going east and west is looking good. Chicago Skyway, Bishop Ford, Dan Ryan. 65 going north and south. Everything is coming along great. So
fabulous.
That is our traffic and weather. Do we want to wait?
Well, we can start our stuff. I mean, because usually we talk about the weekend and stuff. Anyway, I am your host, Michelle Quinn, and this is our producer goddess here,
Hello.
Adriana Alvarez, and we are waiting for Mr. Kyleman to show up, Larry the K. So, I don't know what he was doing last night, but apparently it was fun, or just has tough time getting up in the morning, which we all do.
Whoop, there we go. Sorry. I was waiting I put the phones on, and then they say a little thing before.
Oh, okay. All right. So, anyway, we always start off with, hey, how was the weekend? So... And Adriana, our resident young person who actually has a life, what did you do this weekend?
It was my friend Liv's birthday this weekend, so we celebrated her birthday. She wanted to go out for the weekend, Friday and Saturday, so that's what we did. She had a great time.
Does she remember any of it?
She does, and if there was anything that she didn't remember, I was like, oh yeah, we took photos.
We've got video.
But nothing bad, no, nothing too crazy. And it was just mainly just because she was just like, I just want your birthday. I was like, okay. So that's what we did. It was great. One of the best things I think I did today, besides like spending time with my friend for her birthday, so my friends hate playing me in Mario Kart.
Okay.
And one of them was like, oh, I can beat you in Mario Kart. I'm like, oh, you're so cute.
You're like, okay.
And that's what we did for like 3 hours.
Do it.
This is the excitement of my weekend.
Okay.
Partying, nah. Playing Mario Kart, yeah.
There you go.
That's about it. I didn't really do much this weekend because it was just kind of hot.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be outside in the heat.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm going to stay inside. But also just doing some work for a studio, getting stuff ready for school that is starting soon.
Oh, God. I know, right?
And I got the emails that were just like, hey, so you got some reading materials to come pick up. I was like, so fun.
Like, oh, no.
Yay. But it's exciting. So we got about a little bit, about a month exactly till school starts. So getting schedules, getting classes for both taking and teaching. So that's going to be fun.
Exciting.
And the one thing I was like, I remember my brother telling me before he went to boot camp, he's like, you're going to teach a class full of like 18-year-olds. I was like, yeah. He's like, you're going to look like one of the students.
You are.
And I was like, oh, man, they're not going to take me seriously. And then I was like, what do they call me? They call me by my first name. They call me by like my last name. Like I didn't know because I have some teachers that do both. So I was like, we're gonna see. I teach 2 classes. So maybe one of them will call me one thing, one of them call me the other. And I was like, okay, this is what's gonna happen now.
Sure.
So that's about it. That's extended my weekend. How about you?
Well, let's see. Friday, I had to I covered the Hammond or the naturalization ceremony over at the Hammond court or the federal courthouse.
Yes.
And notable about that is there were 5 women. And, that's kind of exciting. They were from Venezuela, Mexico, and there was a woman from Indonesia.
Yeah.
But I think the notable thing there is, when I've covered naturalization ceremonies in the past, they usually do they're welcome. So anyway, so the notable thing there is that, I've covered them, when they would do them at Harrison Park. I don't think I've done, no, that's not true. I did do one out at the Pavilion along Wolf Lake, which was, a lovely place to have a naturalization ceremony. But at any rate, so there's always at least 25, 30, 40 people, getting their citizenship. And, it's always a cool thing. So now there's 5.
Oh.
And I can only imagine, why there's not a lot of people going for their citizenship. I'm sure that there's going to be, those out there in listener land that's going to be like, oh, because they went back where they came from. And okay, cool, guys. But more and more, I wonder if people are just, that kind of goes to show what this, these marauding band of ICE people who killed another person, by the way. 2. Oh, good. 2. You're right. So, yeah. That's probably, I would be willing to bet that has something to do with
Here, I
it.
can turn that one off. You put that one on the floor.
Go ahead, keep talking.
I would also guess that, with the rise in cost of everything,
Boy, you ain't kidding.
can people actually afford it anymore?
Am I alive?
know. You're alive.
It's
Yes,
getting,
you are.
I can't hear myself.
You are alive. I can hear you.
I apologize for coming in this late and then making these demands.
That's all right.
No, you're fine.
I can't hear a thing.
Nothing.
Am I plugged in? I am plugged in.
Nothing.
Hello?
Not
Test.
a thing.
I can hear you. I can hear you just fine.
Yeah, I
Not a
can't
thing.
hear a thing.
Oh, that's not good.
You got a spare set of headphones? sitting
Yeah,
around?
I could get
okay.
those.
No worries.
Yeah.
No worries.
So anyway,
So you covered the naturalization
I did
service
that.
at, where was this again?
it was at the Hammond, the federal courthouse.
Oh, how nice. And
Yeah.
you said 5 instead
5
of
women.
the average. What is the average?
The average,
for you?
there's at least 25, 30, usually like 50 people. Because,
Right.
they've done it. I remember.
Well, it's a thing.
Yeah.
It is a thing they do, twice a year, every year?
Well, now it seems they've been doing, because I was talking to one of the lovely women from the League of Voters, and she was, because they show up because they do.
Well,
They show up to,
that's what
register
they
people
do.
to vote.
Yeah, that's
and
what they do. You're a citizen now.
yeah,
Vote.
yeah. So she was saying that, they do them or they've been doing them every month, and maybe they do them every month. It's very possible. We typically just cover it around the 4th of July because it's a patriotic thing and stuff.
Right,
but
right, yeah. As has been, as is the tradition, right?
Yeah. So she's like, yeah, last month there were 4.
Wow.
And we didn't go through the whole,
Yeah, the reasons why.
or the history, but we were kind of positing why why we think that is.
With
and
increase in immigration, not increase in immigration into this country, but with the deportation, mostly a mess.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say that. You call in and tell me what you want, but, change my mind, right?
right.
Mostly a mess. Mm-hmm. And now we're only looking at 5 people for a ceremony, which,
Right.
in your estimation, has not happened in
No, yeah,
quite a while, or
I
in your experience,
never
right?
not my experience,
Man.
but
I tell you, it's getting stupid. What do we have downstate? We have Herman Goebbels, all right, Greg Bavino.
Yeah.
Giving a talk down there with
Where?
somewhere in Indianapolis, and I
Ah,
think Braun's going to
Christ.
be there, and Beckwith's going to be there. I'll look that up in a second. And we're not advertising; it's just gross. As far as I'm concerned,
Yeah.
it's disgusting.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's going to be happening too. Bovino will be coming into the state, the rustic state of Indiana.
Yeah. He's another one that's.
and positing his immigration and racial theories. You know,
Yeah.
like people do, I guess. Nope,
Yeah,
there you go.
he's another one that's probably not much taller than I am, if he's taller at all. So
Yeah, right. And so the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't. I think that channel's blown out or
see if
something.
we're gonna
I'm going to
fix
try
this
this mic right here.
Go
Can I
ahead,
do
yeah.
that?
Try plugging
But
it into
not
that one.
before I say this. You talk about the weekend. Y'all had a good weekend, right?
Yeah, and
everything
then
good. I heard.
yeah, the rest of my weekend was Saturday. I ventured out of the house and went to Target because I had to buy baby stuff for my coworker who is having a baby, and her baby shower was on Sunday.
How nice.
So yeah, that was.
Do they know the gender?
Yes, they do. It's a boy.
Yay.
And I, I of course, I'm like, okay, did you guys pick a name? And she says, yes, but we're not telling anyone. I'm like, that's cool. But I do hope that the baby's nickname, at least, is Scully. And I'll tell you why.
Scully.
Because her husband is named Fox Moeller.
Oh, I'm going to switch this mic.
And for the various obvious...
Wait. Her husband is really named...
Fox, yes.
Which one's going? Her husband's really named Fox Mulder?
Mueller.
Mueller.
Yes.
The one you plugged in,
Is this
yep.
one live?
Yep.
Okay, good. Let's set you off for the second.
Yes. So I was like, okay, well now the baby's got to be nicknamed Scully. 'Cause,
Scully, yep.
You've got this little chip off the old block. So, and they laughed and they thought it was funny, although I'm sure it was probably just humoring me because
They
I
just
thought
said,
it was so clever.
Oh, that's nice.
Basically, yeah. But
Oh, you're so funny, Michelle.
well.
Come here, little Scully. Did they do all that too?
No,
Anyway.
none of that. But no, it was very cute, and they asked me to MC the. They asked me to MC the festivities, so I had
Oh, how
to.
nice.
So I had to,
That's
read
always fun
off
when you
the
get
games
asked to
and
do
stuff.
that.
Yeah.
Get to host a little bit there. That's fun.
Yep. So
Right on.
and that was about it. And now
I
we're
did
back to
nothing
life.
anywhere near as exciting this weekend.
Wow.
Nothing.
Then that
Yeah.
was.
So
yikes.
yeah, let me tell you. Now Friday was my wife's birthday, so we went out.
Yay!
Oh, fun.
Happy birthday,
We
DM.
went to what the hell did we do?
I don't know.
Well, we went out for dinner at Freddy's Steakhouse.
Ooh.
Okay.
Did I
new
tell you?
Freddy's.
I got it. Well,
Okay.
yeah, the new Freddy's. You know,
Yeah.
check them on Kitchen Nightmares. You'll see what goes on. Brr, it's all staged. It's all staged. Anyway, just wanted to say we went there. They had great early bird specials. We have
Okay.
moved to that part in the relationship and in our lifespan where we're looking at the early bird specials. I'm only 54, folks, and here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go. But man, for $14.95, you got a choice of 5 different dinners with
Okay.
bread and the sides and all that. And man, did they feed you?
Oh, good.
They,
okay.
I tell you,
I wondered
it's
about
like,
that.
It's like from 2 to 5, 3 to 5. It's their early bird bid on Fridays. It seems like they're going to keep doing it.
Okay.
I don't know if it was a new thing, but it seemed new. But man, oh man, for $14.95, we spent as much on dinner at Freddy's as we would have if we had gone to the local Greek diner, Greasy Spoon,
See that.
which was nice.
I like hearing that because one of the concerns back when they were doing the whole thing was they're going to a casino model
Oh,
of
yeah.
here's your meat, now you got to pay
Oh, her mic's cutting out.
Is it?
It did.
Oh.
Yeah, we got some gremlins in here.
Uh-oh.
No, yours is. I think your headphones are cutting out.
What is it with this place?
Maybe your brain, maybe you
It's
got
the
something.
vaccines I took.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
You hear that? Do you hear that static? Yeah, this might.
The
Something ain't
static,
working here.
It's
Yeah,
The
Huh.
AC.
something just fuzzed out.
Well.
No, I think the static is
I can hear
the
you now.
AC that we.
You think?
Oh.
You think that's okay? We'll talk at the break. We'll talk at the break.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so-
and then yesterday went to the doctor for the annual physical. Got 3 different vaccines, and boy, am I running slow.
Nice.
That's why I was like at 5 5:25 this morning. I'm like, actually sat up in bed, and then at some point I went
You're like, oof.
back. Yeah, so I know what it was. It was no train, no drink, no drugs.
Okay.
This is just the vaccine, folks.
All right. Which
Another
one
reason.
did you get? Which one did you get?
What did I get? The Hep B, the pneumonia.
Yeah.
Is that right? The
Yeah.
pneumonia vaccine, and shingles.
Oh,
Yeah,
dude.
I'm trying to remember the last time I had the shingles vaccine.
Well,
I think
you
put me down
only
for
get
a
it
second.
once.
The shingles vaccine.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
But you're getting 2 of them
Well, yeah.
because you get the one you got yesterday,
Uh-huh.
and now you've got between 6 months and a year to get the second
Oh
one.
well, I'm not going back for that crap.
Dude.
Welcome to WebMD on WJOB.
Okay. Well, no,
I'm
but
not going back for that second shot. How stupid! I'm not going to get shingles. I don't even know why I get vaccines. They're free, so I take them.
Did you get the chicken pox growing up?
Oh no! Yes, I did. Yeah, I had that when I was in 8th grade.
You're
As a
gonna
matter
get
of fact, part of the reason I looked like a catcher's mitt is all the pocking from the sores and such. Yeah, but it's not. That
I never
bad.
had.
Oh yeah, f those vaccines, man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let me tell you. Let me
All
tell you.
right.
845-1100. No, I'm not. I'm kidding.
Yeah, I
Of
was.
course, I'm going to take the vaccines. We're not stupid around
Yeah,
here.
we're
My
not.
God. Oh,
Unlike other people, we are not insane.
Anyway, it is 6:23. We do have a guest coming up at 7 o'clock.
Yes, yes, this is
My
so
good
exciting.
friend, Michelle's good friend, a mutual friend, and soon to be of Adriana's, maybe Miss Callie Redunzel.
Woo,
Of
gal.
Northwest Indiana, last several decades of Chicago, successful
Yep.
hair salon owner on
Yep.
the north side.
Yep. Way north.
Author,
way
musician. It's weird. Can we play any of her music on the show since she's on the show and it's her music, or do we got to
can
go?
try. If I got to copyright it out later, I'll do that.
All right. We got to,
Cool.
because we'll play a couple bits from her album here.
north. So here's a little bit of scariness. I don't know whether I should.
Run away in fear.
No. If we need to, actually, I'll have to ask Cal, but I'll have to message her privately because I don't want to put the address on the air.
Right.
But you know that awfulness that happened in Munster this weekend.
Oh
yeah.
Was that down by her old end of the block?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
I think it. I'm not sure
over
if
by
it,
the river there, or was that
or the
Chestnut?
creek. Yeah, Chestnut. But I looked up. I was like, "Where is the house?" Because I lived over.
Yeah,
there.
you were over on there for.
I was on Northcott.
Right.
So I was like, "Oh wow, was that on our section of the block?" And no, it was further down.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I looked at the house, I'm like,
Is it?
"That Cal's old house."
Oh, that'd be crazy. That'd be crazy.
I think it might have been the anyway, I'll have to ask her what her address was. And
I remember I just to go in the break here. Yeah, you talk about the houses and where we all lived and such. I remember after Callie had long moved out, but
Yep.
parents and brother was still living in the home. We had a fire call there. Not quite sure what it was, but it was nothing. However, I remember our fire chief coming out with a look of surprise on his face because he met Bobby's iguana.
Who's Bobby's?
Bobby.
Oh,
Callie's brother.
Bobby's iguana.
Yeah,
Okay.
had free reign around the house
Oh.
apparently and surprised our fire chief.
Oh.
And anyway, that's
Funny.
just the thing.
So-
Yes, go.
Well, I was going to say they moved because they used to live on Chestnut, and then they moved over to the old rich side of Munster over on the north side of Ridge.
That's where they lived. What do you mean on the north side of Ridge?
No,
on Homan?
No, not that's
Callie will
way-
tell us, but yeah.
Yeah, the northwest, but no, she was on the north side and I forget the name of the street. But she lived over by okay.
Still in Woodmar Estates? Still in that Woodmar neighborhood there? And
I think maybe that
okay,
was
all right.
Woodmar.
Okay, yeah,
Well, yeah,
that is
you
the
know,
Woodmar.
you know
yeah,
most
that's the
of
Woodmar
the
neighborhood.
Yeah, because they moved from Fairmeadow to
Yeah.
yeah.
Gotcha. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Well, now that we got that solved.
Yeah, now we
Home Mysteries here on WJO.
indeed.
B, we got a lot to talk to you about today.
Yeah.
We're going to take this little quick commercial break. It is WJOB 1230 AM, 104.7 FM, the BS on your dial.
Yep.
For over 100 years, Roofers Local 26 has been keeping Northwest Indiana dry and safe. Since 1919, our highly trained members have built a reputation for skills, safety, and reliability. With a 4-year apprenticeship and certifications in OSHA safety, first aid, and CPR, we deliver quality you can trust. When you need roofing done right, choose Roofers Local 26, protecting what matters most for over a century. For more information, visit www.roofers26.com.
Introducing Powers Health, a health system with a new name and a strong legacy of caring for families in our community. One with a tradition of advanced specialized services and a vision for the future. One with a commitment to medical excellence and compassionate care. Everything we do, everything we believe, Powers Health.
When your home needs help, the last thing you need is a faceless corporation or sales-driven franchise. At Myers Companies, we've been proudly local since 1951, born and raised right here in Northwest Indiana. We're family-owned and operated, built on trust, hard work, and integrity. And because we're family, we treat you like family. Your comfort and safety always come first. For HVAC, plumbing, and electrical done right, choose Myers Companies. Local, family-owned, here for your family.
For a fast and friendly car wash, go to Easy Clean Car Wash. Open 7 days a week in 4 convenient locations: Highland, Griffith, Cherville, and Lansing. Free vacuuming, air freshener, and a towel with every wash. It's fast, safe, and gentle. For more information and hours of all our locations, visit myeasyclean.com. Also, see how you can wash your car daily with our $10 Ultimate Wash for only $19.99 per month. Give your car the best clean at Easy Clean Car Wash.
Ogren Insurance, Hammond's oldest family-owned independent insurance agency, now in its 3rd generation, providing clients in the Chicago area with products from quality insurance companies to handle your every need. Regardless of driving history, Ogren Insurance can find the right coverage for you at competitive prices. To learn more about the insurance solutions and services we offer throughout Indiana, Illinois, and Michigan, call 219-933-0076 or visit our website, ogreninsurance.com. We're located at 6929 Homan Avenue in Hammond, Indiana. Do business locally with someone you know and trust.
Welcome back.
Oh, here we got to get this figured out.
That's all right.
Welcome
That's all
back to That's What They Said. We were just talking here about Attorney General Todd Rokita.
Our favorite.
Threatening the town of Maryville over its efforts to sabotage. The town of Maryville, you are now into the saboteur business.
Yeah.
A new federal immigration detention center to be placed in the Maryville area. And I'm going to hand this over to Michelle Quinn.
Yeah. So I've been covering that, and I think we've talked about it before. I've been covering that since December of last year.
It's a long time.
Yep. When the, Washington Post wrote a story about how, the ghouls at Department of Homeland Security
Right.
were planning to expand their ice business and put processing centers all over the country.
Sure.
And Maryville was targeted. And it was mentioned in the story, so that was kind of a chase in finding out, Schnikes, is that really happening?
Right.
Well, so by January 27th, the town, at the behest of its people, put out a resolution like, many of these towns you've been hearing that,
Yeah, I didn't.
Right.
Yeah.
But be like, for example, Hammond last week when they put out in May they'd put out the resolution against BP, and all these other towns
Right.
have been putting out resolutions in favor of the workers.
And in Maryville, that's all this is a resolution.
Yes.
It's not an ordinance. It carries no weight of law behind it.
Yeah.
But yet we have the top lawyer in the state.
Right, which we talked about that when that story came out, that Todd's like, ooh, we're not gonna...
Todd, I'm sure your rigid tumescence is really throbbing over this, but is it necessary?
Well,
Back to you,
but
Michelle.
now, so the plot thickens. They had this, and it's pretty much in the bag. Well, last week, I got sent a resolution that the council will be taking up this evening, that they were planning on rescinding their resolution.
Was this before or after?
It was after.
Of course. Okay. And the reasoning?
Well,
the reason for here's a word I heard: capitulation.
Yes.
The reason for capitulation is
acquiesce is the word
Yeah,
I
they're going
used.
to acquiesce. There we go.
Well, I can't say that I don't understand. Is money. Because it's going to, if Todd, decides to go ahead and go forth with it, which he will, that the town would have to spend money, mounting its own defense. And the town of Maryville, unlike,
what town wants to do that? I
well,
get that,
exactly.
yeah.
And
the reality of the situation.
well, and Maryville, has its own special challenges because for being the, a town of its size, it's the third largest town or second largest town in the state. It's huge.
Yeah.
But its budget doesn't reflect,
No, certainly.
what they have. So I understand the the kind of hesitance or unwillingness to spend what little money they have. Oh, did they finally? Oh no, that was okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just went to the Capitol
No, I was
Chronicle
like,
here.
did the Cap Chronicle pick up my story? No, I think that's the first one.
No.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was the first one. So.
Sorry.
Right. So anyway, but as you can well imagine, I saw last night on socials, one of my favorite people posted a letter campaign. Here's to, go write your council people, tell them to, to stand by.
Right.
It'll be interesting to see what this vote is going to be, because I get to cover that tonight. I had my choice, either Munster Data Center or this one, and I'm like, I'm going to go to this one.
Go to the Maryville one. Might be more fun. Is that what it gets to at this point? Which one's going to be more fun? That's just curiosity talking.
For me, I think it's more what's more timely.
Gotcha.
And I have the attention span of a squirrel, so
it happens.
This is, data centers, that's a lot. This is
too long, didn't read.
Right.
Here you go.
Right.
No.
But at the same time, anytime you have a meeting where there is, and we touched on this a little bit last week because people were freaking out that, oh, we only got 2 minutes to talk at, meeting.
Right.
No, there's a
Yeah.
reason, y'all, because you guys will keep people there
Well,
for hours.
as we were discussing
And
after the show
Yeah.
last week
Yeah.
with Munster Town Councilman Dave Nellens, and he's right. I've known Dave for a lot of years. I don't quickly call him a liar or
No.
BS or anything, but he is right. It's a lot of people saying the same thing.
Yes.
Maybe have it at the Maryville Auditorium, at the high school auditorium next time, and let everybody come in and say their piece, and then let them blow it out.
Right.
And give them 5 minutes there, depending, whatever. Let them blow it out in front of the public and get it off their chest. That's what they want to do. Town councils. That's what these people. It's what your constituents want to do.
Right. And
And-
I get that, but it becomes
It becomes monotonous. It becomes tedious. Person 25 said the same thing as person 15.
Right.
And here
And
comes person 75 saying the same damn thing. Of course. But
Yeah,
I
it's-
think for your constituent, to get it out of their system, to get that anger or whatever they're
Maybe,
holding
yeah,
out, I think
I
that would be a
understand
good
it.
idea.
Still,
Do it
it's
once. Do it
just-
once for a few hours. That's all. Come on.
Yeah,
You got a
it
night
just-
open. See how many people show up. Here's your chance to tell us.
so.
However, you think Maryville is going to listen? Do you think they're good? You think they're, as you said, as you reasoned, they're probably, it looks likely.
I would if I were going to predict.
You can do that as a journalist on the air, right? Can you predict?
Yeah, I
Does that
can,
make you a pundit at that point?
I don't know. I don't know. I feel like the council, even without, the pressure that they may be getting this evening, I kind of feel like the council will uphold the resolution. But again,
The new resolution.
Yeah,
To
no,
de-resolute
no,
the old resolution.
no, the old one.
Oh, they're going to uphold that first resolution. Oh.
I kind of feel like that. But again, I also understand that if it is a money situation, but then, and maybe there are
I see
there
that.
are attorneys such as Mr. Stoya, if you're listening. If suppose this were to follow its logical conclusion that they go to court and Maryville prevails, because again, First Amendment, y'all,
Right.
non-binding resolution,
It's,
y'all.
it has no teeth.
Right.
It's a piece of paper.
So-
is what it is. It's an ideal.
So I would think that they would be able to recoup their money. Mm-hmm. Or the money that they would
Sure,
put out on
sure.
this. And yeah, I suppose that, how long is that going to take or whatever. But I would think that you get to. So I don't see this as a losing proposition
Right.
for the town.
Right.
But I don't know. Maybe a state thing like this would be different. I don't know. But I don't know. We will see.
Yeah,
We will
845-1100 if you're a lawyer and a real lawyer. We got
Yep.
two?
Oh,
we got
okay.
two. Who do we got so far? Are they a lawyer? I want to talk to a lawyer.
Oh, no
Neither one
lawyers.
is a lawyer.
All
Who's the
right.
first one, Abe? Who do we got?
Yeah, Trucker Mike.
Trucker
Can I
Mike.
be a
Trucker.
can,
Hey, Trucker
can I
Mike.
be a trucker? Can I be a trucker lawyer?
Sure.
There you go.
You have the experience. Hit it.
Sure.
I'd just tell you legally how to drive.
Okay.
I couldn't do
that's
any
fine.
better than that.
No, that's all right. That's all right.
No, no. I have a lot of friends, but if I be a lawyer, I won't have friends.
I
You
wonder
know.
how some of
Yeah.
them do have friends at times, but that's beside the point.
You
How
know,
you
just
doing
like
this morning?
supervisors. When you were a regular worker, and then you became a supervisor, then you lost a lot of your friends.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
You
start
know,
going
but-
to those parties. See?
Yeah, I hear you. Hey, on Wednesdays, the morning call, Tom Daverson always tells the temperature of the pool, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you guys first need to announce what's the temperature inside the studio.
It's hot, Mike.
Yeah.
It's hot.
Yeah,
I
you
would give it
know,
about
it's-
80 something.
It's
yeah,
probably about 80
it's,
in here.
It's very
But
swassy in
just
here.
not just not going to want you to do that every morning. Mention the temperature in the studio, blah blah blah, But
Well,
no,
it's hot.
I really didn't want to bring it up, but I'm in a process right now. Investigating and making sure all my facts are correct.
Okay.
I'm going to possibly start another boycott.
Okay.
I'm waiting to make sure I got all my facts together. Because the thing is Wicker Memorial Park treated one of my friends wrongly.
Okay.
So after the 4th of July on Sunday, the boycott's not going to be Wicker Park, but what I'm talking about is when somebody treats somebody unfairly, I'm going to find the facts and I'm going to bring it out to the truth. But Wicker Park Memorial treated one of my friends very wrong.
Okay.
So after the 4th, that Sunday, I took every one of my photo albums and reels and took them off my page of Wicker Park. I won't go in there no more. I won't do no pictures no more.
Okay.
I won't walk into Wicker Park no more. Never again, because of the way they treated one of my friends.
Okay.
Plain and simple.
Okay, so what happened, Mike? In your
I don't want to
estimation,
bring
what
it out. I don't want to bring it out, but all I can say is when you treat a friend wrong, I can't associate with that person.
Okay. Sure.
Plain and simple. It's like, it's a shame, when somebody does something like that. So, you heard I kind of ruffle feathers about BP.
Yeah,
and,
as you should.
Yeah, because I had 49,000 people view my boycott that I put out about a week ago. I had 83 shares. Now I had 5,000 private messages that didn't go over the social media. It went privately to me about it. I sent a letter out now. To the people to not boycott it, go and support it because, now they're going to help out 800 people. And it's a shame. Right now I'm investigating a big company, and if I find out that they're supporting certain things, I'm going to bring this one out. Like I say, people don't investigate. They just put something over to social media and don't do a research to make sure it is true.
Right.
It's like me. Before I say something or do something, I'm going to make sure I say, because there's people going to, not like what I do, but,
Right.
That's how it is in the whole world. And now I'm done with that, but I want to talk about his vaccinations and all that coming late because of shots. What an excuse. You were just late taking a South Shore train.
I live
That's
about
what it
5
was.
minutes away, man. That train don't run by my house. The worst I got to deal with is about 5 trains getting here.
Me and my wife never took that COVID shot, never got it. And then our doctor always bugged me and my wife about getting the flu shots and this and that. And many years ago I got the flu shot. And as soon as I got it, I got sick.
Oh, for
and then
sure.
I quit taking it. Yeah, I quit taking it for years. So then this year, because
Did you
I
get
heard
the
it
flu
on the
after
news.
it, though? Did you get the flu after it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then this year, my doctor says, you really need to get it because you're getting older. I says, really? Okay. So I says, all right, go ahead, do it. Well, guess what? I'm getting sick every once in a while and all that garbage, Sometimes I think those vaccinations, they're designed to make you sick, so you go to the doctor and then the doctor makes money.
You're halfway there.
know,
You're halfway there. They're designed to get you a little bit ill so your body can build up a defense for future infections. That's how a vaccine works.
I don't know if it's
and then
that.
it is that. That's the science, Mike. And
really?
Yeah, decades worth of science to prove what I just said. But that's okay. You have your opinions too. It's all right. I mean, you're an investigator. You should know this. You should know to investigate this stuff, right?
Retired truck driver.
There you go.
It was.
Maybe you could have
it's amazing.
Maybe you could have a second career as a trucker Columbo or something.
Hey, let him finish.
Nah.
Let him finish. Anyway, sorry about that.
Sorry.
This weekend, I finally met somebody that I kept wondering if I ever stood in a grocery line and would meet that person, or
Yeah.
always wondered what that person looked like. And I finally met that person the other day this weekend.
Okay.
And never in my mind would I imagine that that person would look like that.
Yeah.
Well, then when we were talking, I asked him. I go, now what? You know me, yeah? I says, and I says, what did you imagine I look like? Because I drive a truck. He told me. I kind of laughed because I'm thinking, everybody thinks a truck driver's got a big belly, you know.
Yeah, you don't have that.
I mean, me. No, I mean, because, see, my doctor, when I was young, told me, do not have a wallet in your pocket when you're driving that truck for over an hour, 2 hours, because it'll throw your spine out.
Yeah.
And I see so many of these truckers now that they bend over and they're walking and limping. My doctor showed me exactly how to bend over and pick up something. 'Cause,
Right.
I mean, I was lifting 200-pound tarps, chains, and binders, and I was lifting a lot of stuff, and I've never, ever had a back problem until one time I was sitting somewhere waiting to do something, and I was on a bench, and it was a wooden bench, and I was kind of tired, and I laid flat on that wooden bench, and boy, I'll never do that again because it's like 3 or 4 days, man, I was sore. But no, I've never, you know, if you listen to doctors and you watch exactly how you bend over, pick up stuff, how you walk, and how you eat, you know, I mean, I still stay the same weight. I gain and lose a little bit here and there. I mean, I'm not one of these persons, I can't eat this, I can't eat that. I'll eat anything, but then if I don't like it, I won't eat it as much. But there's one thing I love to eat all the time, you know. But now another thing, I'm going to let you go in a second. I'm going to mention about she changed the sign-on. That's what they said.
That's what they said. She added Larry's name.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Right. Now the curiosity is, okay, it goes Larry, Michelle, and her.
Adriana.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a reason why you put him first, not in the middle?
Oh, no.
No, it was just more so with my editing tools, that was the easiest way to do it. And then also when saying all the names together, what kind of sounds, what flows best, and Michelle's name flows best in the middle.
Sure.
So.
And then, you know, another thing, like, you know, when you mention something or talk something, it says Mr. and Mrs., you know, my last name. Mm-hmm. You know, you don't hear Mrs. and Mr. You know, I've always heard people say, we welcome Mr. and Mrs., you know, whatever. Is it ever going to change where you could say Mrs. and Mr., you know? But that's it. Everybody, you know, now I'm going to let you go in a second, but because it's going to be extremely hot.
Yeah, it is.
And worse weather, they're probably going to have warming centers for the situation.
Yeah.
Cooling centers. So everybody check on your friends, family, and, you know, make sure you drink liquids. Do not leave a dog in a car or a household pet in a car with the windows up, you know, and do not walk your pets on pavement because it's going to hurt their little paws, you know.
Yep.
I mean, most of people now wear shoes. They don't walk barefoot on pavement, you know, unless you still do. I used to when I was young, but I can't do that no more.
My religion demands
you know.
it.
But everybody just be careful, be safe, and, you know, because of this weather until Thursday, check on somebody, make sure everybody's okay.
Yep.
And everybody have a nice day.
Yep, you
Thank
too,
you
sir.
so
You
much.
too, Trucker
You
Mike.
too.
That was Trucker Mike. It is 6:50. Let's take a quick break, come back, do a little intro, and then we'll have our guest, Callie Redunzel, on with us at about 7.
Yay.
There we
AM
go.
1230, 104.7 FM.
Need clean energy without the junk? I'm Jim Diedlow. I used to live on burgers, football, basketball, baseball. Now I'm gluten-free and more into biking, golf, and yoga. But I still need energy. That's why I love Paradise, developed by Emily D. Edwards right here in Cherville. My favorite is Paradise Packs Strawberry with gluten-free pretzels. Find it soon at Strachan Van Til or at spreadparadise.com.
Fox Point bursts with free concerts throughout July. Our Wednesday night concert series features Hairbangers Ball, Hello Weekend, All American Throwbacks, and Keith Jackson and the Triple Dose Band. Enjoy the Northwest Indiana Symphony Orchestra on Friday, July 17th, and come back for Marrakesh Express and Echoes of Pompeii on Friday, July 31st. Fox Point in Lansing, Illinois is just minutes from I-8094 and parking is free. Visit foxpoint.org for our full schedule. That's point with an E, foxpoint.org.
The best just got better. Tech Credit Union is proud to celebrate being recognized with Best of the Region, Best CEO, and Best Banker. To celebrate, we're offering 3 special CD offers with rates up to 4.5% APY for a limited time. Visit techcu.org or stop by your nearest Tech Credit Union branch or call 800-276-8324 to learn more. Tech Credit Union, the better option for people and communities we serve. Member NCUA. Minimum deposit required. Offer subject to change. Visit techcu.org for complete details.
IBEW Local 697 electrical contractors bring the highest standard of electrical work to Lake County homes, schools, and businesses. From everyday fixes to once-in-a-lifetime builds, we don't just get the job done, we get it done right and up to the highest safety standards. When you need electrical work, hire the professionals who power Indiana. Powering Indiana, Lake County, bringing excellence to the job, creating a brighter future for our community.
It's the simplest expression. The smallest thing that changes everything. A smile. So easy. A smile lights it up. Apologizes. And welcomes unconditionally. Because the shortest distance between two people is a smile.
Thank you.
Strachan Van Til, where making life easier starts with a smile.
And here we are back on That's What They Said, AM 1230 WJOB. Yep. I'm Larry the K, Michelle Quinn to my left, producer ace extraordinaire, Adriana Alvarez. Adriana, you got any traffic update for us?
Traffic is looking pretty much the same. 80 going east and west is looking good. 90 going east and west is looking good. 65 going north and south is looking good. Bishop Ford, Dan Ryan. It's all coming along great. Downtown, a little bit of traffic as the morning starts, but that is expected. Lakeshore Drive, Chicago Skyways are all looking great. For weather, it's hot. High 90s, mid 70s as the low.
What's the humidity today?
The humidity?
Does it tell you that?
For today, it is, I think, no, it doesn't really tell me the humidity. I have to go more
that's
in
all right. It's hot.
Mm-hmm.
We could just say it's hot.
Yeah, when I walked
Stay
out,
inside,
it was
man.
like, woof, I'm like,
It's like walking into a
man.
wall. Mike, MX is okay. I saw him about 2-3 weeks ago. Now, how he's been since then, I couldn't tell you. I just want to tell you that. Back to Todd Rokita.
Yeah.
Back to Todd Rokita. So Maryville has that resolution.
Right.
They drafted up a resolution.
George Greek Orthodox Church in Cherville for Greek Fest 2026 on July.
My finger slipped thing.
It happens. No big deal. It's nice to hear Rick.
There we go.
So they're going to pass a resolution. Ideally, we think pass a resolution to de-resolute the previous resolution.
That's what they're going to be debating.
And
yes.
then you said there may be a group that's going to say the hell with it. Keep that resolution.
Well,
This is before Trucker Mike called about 20 minutes ago. So
if this is if the way things, if what I'm seeing is true, that, a bunch of people that are against the, processing centers and all kinds of, all that, they will show up
Mm-hmm.
and they will talk.
Gotcha.
And I will be interested to see what the council does. I can't predict with 100%, but I'm like,
Sure.
they
there,
might.
there could be a change, is what you're saying. There could be no capitulation. There's that chance of it.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
And I understood. I processed what you said about, money issues and town funding.
Well, right.
But at the end of the day, it's just a resolution. It has no teeth. Why is that's my question. Why is a state AG going after something that has no teeth? It's an idea on paper. That's it.
Well,
what's Todd saying?
Well, because his argument was that all these warehouses called the AG's office and
all of
were
them.
Yeah, all.
He's full of it.
Okay, he's saying 4 of them.
He's still full of it.
I'm just saying what I reported.
No, I'm not.
Yeah,
Michelle, I'm not arguing.
Oh, I know,
with
I
you.
know,
better than
I know
that.
you are. And also, I would also point out that I reached out to the AG's office, and no one ever responded. But
Well, they won't.
right?
They won't.
But whatever.
So yeah, here we go. Here we go. Nothing better, Todd, with nothing better to do. There's no 10-year-old girls or their doctors you can prosecute for stupid stuff. There's nothing else happening.
He lost.
There's nothing
on that
else
one
happening,
again,
right,
too.
Todd? Right. So let's go after
Right.
Words on a paper that mean nothing. That simply express a sentiment. Sounds like you're coming after the First Amendment. First Amendment rights here, buddy.
Exactly.
Good job, Todd. Good job.
That's what it is. So.
Town of Munster's proud of you, son.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't the town have its own little resolution about that too? Did the town of Munster ever pass one of those?
No, because
who else did?
They weren't. Munster wasn't. They were never targeted for a processing center.
Even just kind of an opening, a sanctuary, because that the sanctuary city language is rolled into that, the welcoming city, all that. I mean, and the general question is, did Munster do something like that?
No.
Okay, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. So we'll leave them alone.
If they did, it wouldn't have been this council. I don't.
Right. Yeah, definitely not the current council. But anyway, back to Todd and Maryville and his.
Well, yeah, and Maryville, I would posit if you're worried about money now, what's going to happen if you had a processing center? Who's going to want to come through Maryville then? You're supposed to be welcoming, and you're supposed to. And now you've got a processing center, so who's going to want to,
What just to play devil's advocate here, what happened to all that talk about putting the processing centers out away from the urban and suburban areas? Because there was talk about that. He's talked about camps and detainment camps and so on. So I don't get that.
Well, what they wanted to do is, and this was the plan in the Washington Post, they would go to these big warehouses and, rent or lease them off these companies. Well, Maryville happened to have at the time they've got a bunch of big warehouses.
Yeah.
And so then we go in, we spend a couple mil to retrofit them, and that's how they were going to do it.
Right. So it comes down to the owner of a warehouse was told no, he couldn't use his warehouse for that purpose. Is that? I mean, how did this even get to?
Well,
let me guess. Todd just isn't saying anything about it except what he can get in the paper and make himself look good, right?
Essentially.
There it is.
Essentially, because, I mean, I do know that feds did come and look.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
They had.
Because they're all in cahoots.
And, it's also very clear, though, even if Maryville could say, we don't want it, it doesn't matter because the federal government trumps.
Yeah,
It doesn't.
Trumps the state for sure.
So
well,
they can say how much they don't want. But, so
shame,
anyway.
Shame. Well, it is 7:00. Our interview is on the phone.
I think we do got our interview. So
let's see. Let me check the.
Let's
there we
see.
go.
Good morning, caller. You are on the air.
Hey, hi you guys. Good
Girl,
morning.
how's it going?
Oh, well, of course I had to have a phone snafu this morning. My phone wouldn't work, so I'm like, I ran and got Polly's phone. So, anyway.
Gotcha.
But here I am.
Hey.
Right on. Can you speak up just a bit, Cal?
Oh, wait, no, she's good.
We got it there. Okay, good. So let me. Good morning, madam.
Cool.
So let me introduce you on the phone right here.
Sure.
We have Callie Redunzel. Callie Redunzel. Of Chicago, Illinois, and formerly of Northwest Indiana. Callie is a mutual friend of mine and Michelle's.
Yep.
Michelle knew Callie mostly through
First grade.
From first grade. I knew of Callie in high school. Both the ladies are 2 years older than me, but that doesn't mean anything. I just, it's the class. The class. The freshmen don't hang out with the juniors, and et cetera, et cetera. But I got to meet Callie soon after I graduated high school, and she's been one of my friends, dear friends, ever since.
Yep.
So I thought, while we're doing this here on the radio, let's have a little local culture. Ladies and gentlemen, local author, Chicago author, gigging musician, songwriter, high-end curly hair salon owner, and
of which I have been to.
Yes, and which I have been there also, not for my hair, just to sit and watch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's
Cool.
a hobby. Watch people curl hair. And leader of her band, Callie and the Snag. There's so much here. She owns her own podcast called Lunatic Fringe. You could find her at calliesworld.com, or if you're interested in getting your curls done, you can go to Callie's Curls.
Curls and Co.
Or I'm sorry, Callie's Curls.com. That's CALLYS curls.com. Here we are. Without further ado, Callie Redunzel. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good.
Good.
So, were you listening? Were you listening to us beforehand?
Well, yeah, they patched me. There was something. I heard some Todd, some political stuff.
No. Even beforehand, the old house of yours.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna need to, if you can PM me the former address, because there was some excitement on your block, in your neck of the woods.
Oh.
So.
Really?
Well, no, it was like really not good stuff. But I was like, when I went to go look up where the house was, I'm like, oh my God, was that Callie's house? And so. If you
what's funny? I looked it up not a long time ago, a few months ago, I think.
Right.
I looked up the address because that used to be a really beautiful house, and now it's like, I think they must have I don't know, somebody bought it and rented it out or something.
Oh.
But I'm like, oh man,
Yeah,
it's not a pretty sight.
Kind
it needs
of
some
a
work,
shame to see all that when it happens, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
I was.
And that's again. Time moving on.
For
sure. It's like one of those things.
Callie, you grew up in like the rest of us here at this table in beautiful Munster, Indiana. What was the what? There's a common answer, but I'm going to ask you anyway. What was the pull of Chicago for you?
Well,
what made you want to be there?
In fact, I was thinking about this last night because it's like, when we were all kids, and I think we were all this way, the three of us. It's like, I went to Frank H. Hammond, Munster Middle School, Munster High
Wilbur
School.
Wright.
And there you go. And I did theater and I did singing and all that stuff. And, as time, we were kids of the 80s. And I think there was this fantasy of this always like, the big break. You know what I mean? Like somebody's going to discover you.
Right.
And so, of course, you wanted to move to the big city to find that. Plus, I mean, honestly, I always joke I'm such a Gemini. They're like extreme middle of nowhere.
Right.
Or extreme in the center of things.
Right.
And I mean, so Chicago was the closest. And I went and visited New York City with some friends who were living there.
Yeah.
And I mean, when I came home, I was like, wow, that's going to be an expensive endeavor. And so I felt like the best way to go was start in Chicago because I had friends who were living here.
Right.
And so that's sort of where, my book, Chicago Stories, An Outsider's View from the Inside, all my life I'd been coming to Chicago. My dad was a business owner here. My grandpa, my dad, and my uncle, I don't know if you guys know this, were in real estate in Chicago. And so all my life, I'd be schlepping to Chicago with them. Like during, summer and stuff, my grandpa would have to, go collect rent or whatever and babysit. And he would be taking me all over. But it was more like the South Side, like Hyde Park and stuff like that. And I didn't even know where I was going, but we'd go to these big mansions, and it was so cool. And then, my dad later on, we would have city days and come to the city and, go to the Magnificent Mile. My stepmom was a French teacher, and she would take all her students downtown. So there was just a lot of the grandeur of, Chicago.
Right.
And so as a kid, and that's what I write about in the beginning of the book. I think it's important to read that because then you understand why I had such a love of Chicago. And then when I moved here, now I've been here since 1992.
Right.
And I've been here longer than I've been in the region. But of course I'm always still going back, and I have lots of friends there, and but I mean the city has really become, it's funny because I've been here long enough. And because I cut hair every day, I still am behind the chair, even though I'm a salon owner.
Right.
And it's just telling people, they want to know the stories, and they want to talk about the neighborhoods, and where do you go to eat,
you're
and
almost
where do
like
you
a
go to
ready-made
shop.
concierge for them, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's why for, people were like, oh, well, why do you want to, when I was living in the burbs for a little bit, I lived in Lombard.
Yeah.
And just for a few years.
Okay.
And people are like, why don't you open your business out here? And I'm like, because I don't know that area. And when you have a business, part of having a small business is knowing about the city and knowing where to go and what to do and all that stuff.
Sure.
And so they really parlayed, well together.
Right.
And I'm probably going to do a book signing because my salon is an old historic theater. The one you went to, Michelle, was my first salon. And that was up the street a little bit, which was smaller.
I thought you did move. Because that was the one, not Rogers Park, but... No, I remember.
Yeah, it's actually Rogers Park.
You're
we are
still in
literally
Rogers Park.
right
She
on
just
the
moved
border.
about 2 doors down.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah,
it's a block and a half, and it was a huge pain in the ass.
Yeah,
you want to talk about red tape.
Right. Right.
Because you had the I remember you shared a parking lot. Was it with the Jewels? It was a grocery store or something.
Which was and it would have been kind of a nice thing, except we had this guy, we used to call him Miami Vice, who would literally sit there in his car and make sure only certain people parked in that lot.
Right.
Oh, for God forbid.
I remember you telling me to watch out for that, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, and the cleaning people one night came in, and he got the car towed. And I'm like, dude,
come on.
You were supposed to be watching our back. I mean, he had the high-waisted jeans, the aviator glasses. He used to work for Lincoln Park Towing, which were notorious for just towing anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, he'd brag about how he towed some lady with her baby in the back seat. I was like, that's not something you brag about, dude. That's something you should be ashamed of.
Right.
But anyway, the Lincoln Park Pirates, he was very proud of his association with that.
Ah.
So that was my first salon.
Okay.
And then we moved up the street because I got to know, in the Chamber of Commerce, actually Rogers Park Business Alliance helped me.
Right.
And there was this really nice business owner down the street who owned the old Howard Street Theater.
Okay.
And it's been very much gutted. It was very dilapidated.
Sure.
And he's like, do you want to bring it back to its, former glory a little bit? And so we went in and spent far too much money on on a building I don't own quite.
Right.
Wait.
But it's gorgeous.
So you moved your salon into a theater.
Yeah, it's an old theater
what it
house.
is if you've been to the Aragon. Right. Yeah.
Nice.
You got it's like Aragon and the Riv. When you walk in, you see this beautiful vestibule.
Yeah.
And that is the part so I have almost 3,000 square feet. And it's like you would be walking into the vestibule, and we have a big chandelier, and there's like the former candy counter is our front desk, and then we just set everything up, and I have a lot of, because we host music events. We haven't in a minute, but we do host music events and other things.
Yeah.
I have a lot of murals up that are done by local artists and stuff like that. And so it's really, it's like I wanted something that was cool, cozy, and felt very rock and roll, like very CBGB, but not too cool.
Right.
Like I didn't want it where it felt snobby or whatever.
Right.
I wanted people to be able to come as you are and feel like part of the group. So, and that's kind of what we've done.
And
so.
Yeah, I'm going to need
we've
to
been in business.
see that. I have not
17
seen
years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right on. Callie, how did you, you went up to Chicago. I was there for some of that back in the early days, what we wanted to do in our youth and whatnot. I know you'd worked in the hair industry. You were singing waitress for a jazz club for a little while, and so on. What prompted you to want to write your first book, Permanent October?
Well, Permanent October was more that book. Oh boy,
right.
It's like beware of listening to too many people.
Sure.
Because I wrote it just to be a romance novel.
Okay.
And I just thought it would be like really fun and kind of like Northern Exposure meets romance.
Okay.
Yes, between two ladies. But I mean, it's really about the town and this fictional town in Canada. And I got the idea basically from, my dad and my brother would go up to Canada all the time. And then my uncle in real life was married to a Playboy bunny, my Uncle Al.
Oh,
and
wow.
so I kind of used that little tidbit because that's in the book. And again, it's
Al.
a total fiction, fantasy. What's really weird is I met her 2 years ago.
Okay.
Not what I was thinking. I mean, she's when you think Playboy bunny,
right,
you think
there's
like big hair and all that.
Right.
Big hair and big everything. And she was not at all like that. Super classy. Like she looked like a fitness instructor. She kind of looked like Ghislaine or whatever the Epstein chick.
Really?
She had like short dark hair. Yeah,
Wow.
so not at all what I was expecting. And she actually wanted a copy of Chicago Stories. She had heard about that, and Permanent Vacation, which Permanent Vacation, I've written 3 books. Permanent October, which was like my first, I think I want to write a book and publish it. So that was the romancy. Then Permanent Vacation is my tiki noir. So as you guys may know,
say that again.
My brother lives in.
It's your what novel?
She said
tiki.
It's my tiki noir.
All right, hold on. Now, for our listeners, you've used that phrase with me, and I get it because I know you. What exactly is tiki noir? And if you look up at the screen, if you're watching on YouTube, the book cover for Permanent Vacation is there, and it does invoke
I don't remember
tiki
the cover
culture
being like that. Yeah.
So, what is tiki noir? Uh-oh. Callie? Hold on.
Video, you can see a white vehicle driving in a circle as an agent grabs at the door. It's unclear if this was before or after
Callie?
the shooting. This clip shows what appears to be federal agents pulling the lit body of a man from
All right. Yeah, go ahead. I don't know what's going on. Callie, if you can. It seems we lost you there for a second. I hope everything's okay. You bring the phone back up just in case? Callie, are you there? Well, crap, we lost her.
Well,
Let's
she'll
give
call
her
back.
Yeah, let's give her a chance to call back. It is 7:15 here at 12:30 a.m. WJOB 104.7 FM. That's what they said.
Head on over to St. George Greek Orthodox Church in Cherville for Greek Fest 2026 on July 16th through 19th. Come and enjoy the Greek experience with delicious foods like lamb, shish kebab, Greek chicken, spanakopita, and many desserts, including our delicious lurkamades. Check out our drive-thru options. We offer free admission, music, dancing, and a $14,000 raffle. Located at 528 West 77th Avenue in Cherville. For more information, contact the church office at 219-322-6165.
Life's biggest challenges don't come with a warning. When legal issues arise, whether it's a car accident, personal injury, criminal charge, or representing you before municipal boards, you need a trusted advocate on your side. At Westland & Bennett, we listen first because your story matters. We provide strategic, personalized legal solutions to protect your rights, your freedom, and your future. Peace of mind starts with a conversation. Call 219-440-7550 today for a free consultation.
From the gas in your car to the heat in your home and the roads that you drive on, our work powers daily life. We are USW Local 71, the proud men and women of the Whiting Refinery. We're not just refinery workers. We're your friends and neighbors, raising our families here, shopping in the same stores, and cheering in the same stands. USW Local 71, powering the region because we are the region.
I'm a victim of being ran over by a semi while I was flagging. The person wasn't paying attention and they hit me with their vehicle.
I seen a accident where we were the first people to walk up, and that picture will never leave my mind.
I've seen people get hit before. It's been horrible.
Construction zones on roadways and bridges are more than just cones and equipment. They're the workplace for thousands of dedicated union laborers.
Everybody has a family that they need to get back home to, so please just pay attention to us out here while we're working.
We all have family, and I know it's a pain in the ass, but we're trying to make the roads better for y'all.
We're doing this for everyone. We're hardworking Hoosiers, just like you, and we all want to make it home safely.
People would just take a couple seconds to pay attention.
Be aware of where we're at, where the cone zones are at. We're all in this together, and we're all just trying to be safe.
This is Brian Short, Business Manager for the Indiana Laborers District Council. Everyone deserves a safe place to work. Do your part in the cone zone. Slow down, save a life. We're all in this together.
A message from Laborers International Union of North America and affiliated locals.
All right, and we're back. AM 1230, WJOB 104.7. Our guest is Callie Redunzel.
Hey.
There we go. What happened there? What happened there?
Technical difficulties. I don't know.
Yeah, that was
I
weird.
just switched phones, too.
It sounded like
I-
something was happening there. I heard something about a white car circling around, and I was getting a little worried. But
Really?
anyway, yeah, weird. It was like
Huh.
a news report or some such. But anyway, back to the question I asked you. What is Tiki Noir? Two great tastes that taste great together. What is that?
So basically, it's a mystery that has the noirish. You know, I wanted something that really captured the underbelly of Hawaii since I'd been going there so long.
Yeah.
And I wanted something like Magnum PI, but I also wanted a little bit of Raymond Chandler.
Sure.
And, you know, also with some hardcore, some comedy.
Okay.
And because that's what I enjoy. I do enjoy writing comedy.
Mm-hmm.
And so the book is basically the main character's brother gets abducted by some drug smugglers, and it takes a colorful cast of Hawaiian characters to get him back.
Okay.
So, yes.
And the
And
brother,
so
is that
that's,
Bob?
you know.
By chance, is that your brother? Was
Yeah.
was he the inspiration for that?
He was.
I love
Yeah,
it.
you know, it was fun. It was actually fun going to, like, when I told him I was going to be writing this book, I'm like, all right, take me to all the shady places.
Right.
And,
Bob knows nothing about
you know,
shady
so
places.
he wrote, and
not
of
him.
course he knew them. So he was showing me, like, again, he just took me all over the place, and he'd been living in Oahu for so long
Right.
that it was fantastic. He really knew where he was going.
Mm.
So anyway, so he took me around there, and that kind of, again, I thought I was going to be writing in the beginning before all of this. I was just going to write like hot spots in Oahu, and then it turned into this like mystery novel, and it was really fun.
Well, that's
so
cool.
I've had a good time with it.
That's good.
Yeah.
Right on, right on. We're going to get off the books for a second. We're going to circle around to Chicago stories. Adriana, if on Callie's website there, I want to talk about your musical offerings, if I may.
Sure.
You released the CD. What's that? That was just after COVID or just before you released your CD
Just
entitled
before,
Raw?
yeah, it was before. I have 2 CDs.
Okay.
The main one is the one I wrote. You know, go figure, Old Town School of Music. It's like, here I've been in Chicago all these years, since 92. I've been in various little bands that really didn't work out, and I did some cabaret and stuff. And then I end up at Old Town School of Music, and I mean, what just wealth of talent and
You found
just
your people.
openness, like love of music, no ego. I mean, these people are phenomenal studio players, and so I just sort of walked into the best case scenario. I mean, like Steve Dawson has played with everybody. He's like a hired gun,
Yeah.
and he has his own band, and so you'll hear Steve Dawson music and Funeral Bonsai Wedding, and Dolly Varden was his most famous band in Chicago. But he helped me, with my vision, basically. We would meet once a week and work on my songs. And somehow we ended up writing like 60 songs.
Nice.
So we tried all the different genres, and some are wins and some are weird. And so I always tell people, listen to each song like it's its own thing, because, I mean, somebody asked me to write a song, like a theater song one time, and I did. It's like, it was great to be in this environment of music where everything was okay. Like, I mean, I got a sea shanty on there. I got a punk rock, like an Irish punk rock. And then mostly I write R&B, rock and roll, and funk, like funky soul.
Right.
So if you like Marvin Gaye, if you like that kind of vibe, that's what that's what I prefer to write and sing. And we've done a lot of festivals all over Chicago. Howard Street used to have a music fest every year, and we used to do that.
Right.
And I have taken a break from music because you know what? You can't do it all.
Sure.
And I'm totally okay with that. So, right now we're focused on writing, but I will get back to music. John Abbey, who is a fantastic guitarist. I mean, he helped Robert Plant when he was here a few years ago. He's just that good. And he was like, Callie, and I cut his hair.
Nice.
It all
There
works
it is.
out. It all works out. And he's like, when are you going to get back to music? Because he had this gigantic, impressive studio called King Size Studios. And I recorded my CD in there, then at his studio, and got to know him. And he's like, you need to get back to music. I know you're doing that writing thing, but so I will. And I really, because that, they kind of, I always think, do I like music better or do I like writing better? But they go hand in hand.
Right.
And in this day and age, you kind of got to do it all.
Sure.
You guys know that.
Yep.
I mean, that's why I really don't do much with my podcast is more like, I ambled into it. It's on Buzzsprout. I'm trying to get it back on Apple. I don't know why Apple, sometimes I have to re-up it, I guess. I don't know. But it wasn't playing on Apple. I wanted it in time for this broadcast, but the best laid plans. But Buzzsprout is really good, and they host it. And so I'll be adding some audio stories from Chicago Stories.
Excellent.
So, for
I
people
like
who don't
that
like
angle
to
you're
read books,
taking on that. Yep. Let's talk about Chicago Stories here. Now, the book is Chicago Stories, An Outsider's View from the Inside. I personally received this book from you it was at the Printers Row Lit Fair last September. Does that sound about right?
Yes, and it's had some changes since then.
Right,
so
yeah, and I know you've put out a second edition
printing.
since. So tell us, give us the Chicago Stories, An Outsider's View from the Inside. The title is pretty descriptive. What made you consider yourself? I mean, you've lived, as you said, you've lived in Chicago longer than you lived anywhere else. You are a Chicagoan. What do you still find yourself to be an outsider? Tell us a little bit about that, Cal.
The outsider thing is because all my life I've always felt like kind of the outsider. I'm like the thumb on the hands with the fingers. I'm the oddball. And, when I was a little kid, that was like, it sucked, and I talk a little bit about that in the beginning of this book, just feeling like the odd man out. And then as I grew up, I realized, what? Maybe that's my secret superpower.
Right.
That I'm not like everybody else, that I am a little eccentric.
Right.
And it turns out it has been a good thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny with John Abbey, I was always like, that musician I was talking about.
Right.
I'm like, you remember me? And he's like, yeah, Callie.
I love
you know? So, I mean, it's like one of those things. And so when I wrote these stories, a lot of, like, you know, I've had a lot of, like, the best way to put it is, you know, in your life, you think there's these, like, you want to write this big story, but actually the bottom line is when I really thought nothing was happening with my life, that's when these stories were being cultivated, you know, and when I sat down, Dmitry Samarov was a big catalyst in this. He's a Chicago writer and he's an artist. And during COVID, I was like, you know, stuck at home and I was cleaning and I was like, oh, hey, I forgot I bought this book at Dusty Groove. It was called Music to My Eyes. And it wrote about Chicago clubs, the music scene, musicians. And I was like, holy crap, I know a lot of these people.
Yeah.
So I read that book. Then I read his next book, Old Style, which was all about dive bars and him bartending at dive bars and the characters and patrons that come in there. Then I was like, I must have more. So I ended up reading all of his books, and he has many. And Hacks was his most famous book, which was about him driving around Chicago. He was a student at School of the Art Institute, and he was driving around Chicago to make money in a cab.
Okay.
And all the people who would get in his cab.
Right.
And that ended up a TV show. And so I think it only lasted like one season. But Dimitri and I have become friends. He helped illustrate this book with a lot of his art, my book, Chicago Stories.
Yeah.
And so he inspired me because I'm like, when I got done and I had no more Dimitri to read, I was like, maybe I'll write my own. And I was just going to blog it. But then I'm like, you know what? Let's commit. Let's do a book. And it was just, it's very much about people, places, like everything that has happened in Chicago since I've been here. And my goal is that when people read this, that they have their own Chicago stories. Like there's a long defunct bar called the Saxony, which I call a pirate bar, because it literally was one of the grossest, gnarliest bars. It was in pouring rain. I'm waiting for a friend by the L station. I go inside this bar, and you got to read about it because it's like, again, it's a good story.
Yep, for sure.
Well, I ended up doing a book signing at Phyllis's Musical Inn, which is a very famous, quote-unquote, corner bar, dive bar, right? It's been there for like 3 generations.
Right.
And this guy comes up to me, and he's like, I read your book. Oh, my God, I got a Saxony story. He said, same thing. He went in there because he was waiting for a friend. It was getting really late. He sits down at the bar. He said the door to the bar just blows open like 5 minutes after he sits down. A guy walks in, shoots a patron, goes to walk out, and the cops like storm the place. And he's like, I got the hell out of there. And I'm like, that's the kind of bar Saxony was. And here, just so what makes it even more infamous is it was owned by the Green Mill, which was Al Capone's old bar, and blah, blah, blah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So it's like, yeah. So, I mean, there's just lots of, those are the insider things. Like, unless I lived here, I wouldn't have gone in there. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that corner is Lawrence and Broadway, man. I mean, it's cleaned up a little bit, but I literally saw a guy walking down the street one time in a hospital gown, no shoes, with a bag, like he was holding the bag of fluids, and he walked into the Saxony. I mean, that's where I was like, oh my God.
That's the place I want to drink.
Yikes.
Right there at the Saxony.
So, but I have classier stories in there too. You know, I mean,
it's not all it's not all about the negative, the soft underbelly of the great city of Chicago. I've read quite a few of the stories. Yeah, you gotta get into that book, folks. It's good. And the second edition, I gotta ask you, how is the second edition different from the first? Is it longer? Was it cut down a little bit? How did you and your editor decide on that?
So actually, Callie, her name is Callie. Go figure.
Oh, okay.
But with an IE. I gave a little shout out to her because she went through the whole book.
Do it again.
She went to the new school in New York City.
Okay.
And she is an editor by trade.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, I'll help you. And I mean, what an undertaking, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, long story short, she went through the whole book, found any errors that, you know, because I'm like, girl, I saw some errors. And so she went through, fixed up some of the artwork wasn't sitting right, and we were missing a story. So Steve Dawson, who I told you about, who has Dolly Varden and all these bands and stuff, so he was, you know, very instrumental in my life and a big teacher and sensei in my musical world. And his story wasn't in the book. And I was like, I don't know how it got clipped, but so she put that back in there.
Right.
So I was like, thank you. And it was just a really nice, she just was wonderful. And I really appreciate all her effort on that. So she really she made everything come together, and she read every story. She's a fast reader and helped me out. And, you know, when I wrote this book, I realized, like, all the experiences and the people and the places and, you know, the interesting, funny, weird moments that are happening when you're living it. You know, it goes from when I was a little kid and it was a fantasy, like what would Chicago be like,
right,
to like, well, now I live it every day and these are the people I know.
Right.
And I mean, like, you know, when I read Jack Kerouac's On the Road, I'm sure he had moments where he was like, you know, just looking for the next gas station, go to the bathroom.
Right.
And, you know, there was this book called Love is a Mixtape by Rob Sheffield. It's like life and loss one day, or it's like one song at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was this other Old Records Never Die by Eric Spitznagel, who's a Chicago author. And, you know, when I read those books, those were also very inspirational to me writing my book, because I really wanted to write about some of the clubs and just like weird jobs. We've all had weird jobs.
Right.
Think about the weird jobs you have had and what they brought to your life.
Yeah.
And the people you met through them.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like, I had a terrible catering job. It sucked, but it went to the most amazing places, and that ended up at the Princess Diana when she was still alive at the Field Museum. There was a big benefit for Gilda's Club, and everybody in Chicago, it was like the hot ticket, and you couldn't even get tickets.
Right.
And here I was there,
Yeah.
but, you know, serving.
Right.
And the people, and then, you know, I mean, it was just such a really cool night. And just being there, also in a place that I've been coming since I was a little kid, the Field Museum.
Yeah.
You know, with the T-Rex and the mummies. And here I am walking the halls looking for my, you know, cohorts who shouldn't be smoking.
Right.
I mean, it was a long time ago.
Hey, you by the dinosaur, put it out.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. I mean, you know, just that kind of stuff. And, I mean, that's the thing. I've never met a person who doesn't have fun stories.
Right.
And so I love when people read this and they pre-read it, and then they're like, I got a story for you. And because everybody's got good stories.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
so, I mean, yeah. So, yeah, there was this attorney who had to tell me his Chicago story, which was, there was supposed to be like a Chicago fire, Chicago PD, and then there was supposed to be like Chicago law, and it didn't last very long. Well, it turns out his handle, he's a lawyer, and so the handle was like Chicago law. Well, all these people were trying to get a hold of him to submit their resumes to be on the show, and he's like, no, I'm a law firm.
Yeah.
This is the wrong... So I got to forward all this stuff. So he ended up meeting some of the people on that show,
right?
Because he had to forward all the information.
Right.
So I mean, you know, just like fun little tidbits. And I'm a huge music collector. Larry knows this.
Right.
I have a ton of, you know, vinyl CDs, and that is kind of my fantasy retirement job, is just going and sifting through people's collections. And
right.
You know, I like the beat up weird stuff. You know, I'm not looking for the pristine condition stuff. And I love that. I'm a big crate digger. That's what they call me. So in this book, if you're really into vinyl and where to go to get good music.
Yeah.
I give you the whole lowdown.
Well, also, I remember, or one of my favorite things about you has always been your love of Dr. Demento and all that. The odd, you're also a huge Robert Crumb fan.
Oh
for the
my
art
God,
stuff.
yeah. I love all my underground comics.
Yep.
Yeah, and you know, that's another thing in Chicago. Like when we grew up in Northwest Indiana, there were comic book shops and
Wayne's
stuff.
Trick Shop,
and I'd
yep.
read Vampirella.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But there wasn't, I remember Mad is what really was my deal.
Yep.
I really liked
Correct.
Mad.
Yep.
So then So then I moved to the city, and Quimby's was, and Chicago Comics have all this underground stuff, and what now we call indie comics, graphic novels.
Right.
And it's much more popular in Europe than here, which is the memoir, the travel novel, or just any novel that you'd write, but it's illustrated. And you can find it those two places.
Yeah.
And that also led me down the road of zines, which are self-published magazines.
Right.
So, you know, I mean, those are the wonderful things that happened. I had all this creative juice going on, and moving here, I was able to find a lot of outlets to, you know, engage with the people who were doing it.
Yeah.
You know,
I think
so
that's
like
the
Liz
big difference,
Mason,
right? Because we don't
Yeah.
have necessarily. We have pockets of that culture, but it's not a lot.
Not quite a scene.
No,
Yeah.
it's not. It is not.
But
so.
you know what's cool that I find the more that I travel is little cities and little towns try harder. Like when you're in LA, you know, my sister-in-law's in LA, and so, you know, we'll go there and stuff. And when you're in LA or you're in New York or Chicago, you know, there's so much here.
Right.
But when you go to like a smaller city or a less, you know, traveled city, they're hitting it hard. They're passionate. They're excited. Like I remember I had to drive through like Akron and Cincinnati and stuff like that.
Yeah.
These record stores, these guys, I mean, they'd spend all day talking to you. They were sifting through stuff, handing me things, getting me a box out of the back and loading me up, bringing it out. I had an RV. I was traveling. I was going to a book conference in Bethesda, Maryland.
Yeah.
And so along the way, of course, I had to hit all the record stores. But these little towns, they try harder. And I feel like, and also Northwest Indiana, I don't know what it is. I mean, you know, I was talking to somebody who grew up there, and we were talking about how just everybody in our generation was really trying to be famous. And so there was a lot of people like engaged. They were trying to write, trying to do music and doing it, and very serious about it. And I mean, there's just a lot of good stuff that comes out of Northwest Indiana, actually. You know, I mean, Michael Jackson's legacy is in the Jackson 5.
Sure.
You know, Gary, Indiana. I remember when I used to go to ISMA and sing and do competitions in high school, and we'd hear all about the Jackson family, and Joe Jackson wasn't supposed to be, you know, parents weren't supposed to come to these events.
Right.
And he would, like, storm the Bastille and come in and, you know, to listen to his kids.
Yep.
At the Genesis Center.
Yeah.
You know, and stuff like, I remember we sang at the Genesis Center. Munster High School went in there for like the holidays for Christmas.
Yeah.
And I just remember the kids in Gary were like these amazing singers, and they're like throwing down these great, you know, like there was gospel going on, all this stuff. And then we get up there and we're singing this like old English hymn. And I was like, oh, this is not my proudest moment.
Doing the white thing.
So, you know.
Yeah, another memory, if I may step back from memory lane, do you remember 5th grade choir?
Mrs. Zach?
You and I, we were in the 5th grade choir together.
There you go.
Yep.
I remember. Well, and you know what was? See, that's what I mean. It's like we had this teacher who was like super passionate about. I remember she like Peter, Paul, and Mary, and I was like, oh man, I was
Mrs.
not a
Bussert
fan.
was
back
her
then.
name. That was our.
Oh no! Now Mrs. Bussert was amazing. She, like her daughter, was like a conductor for the Philharmonic or something. And
wow.
I don't know, some city.
Oh, wow.
And I mean, she was really good.
Yeah.
And I remember, okay, weird thing, she always smelled like Halston perfume.
Nice.
Because I remember I was like, you know, that was her signature scent.
Yeah.
And she taught us the recorder.
Yep.
Remember
yep.
we had to learn the recorder?
Sure did.
So.
Sure did.
Oh, yeah.
I think I was excited because I got chosen to play. I guess I was good enough to play the bass recorder because we all had, you know, those standard issue recorders, but then I got to play the big recorder.
The big recorder.
I was very excited about that.
Yeah, I was so scared back then. I wanted so bad to, like, you know, like sing out and do all the things, but I was scared, man. I had terrible, terrible stage fright. And she was very kind about it.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah.
But, and who was that other? Mr. Bender. Oh, my
Bender,
God.
our
What
teacher.
a hoot.
Yep.
Yes. He would walk around. This would never be allowed today. He would walk around with a big sword and be like call out our names and stuff and scare the crap out of us.
Oh, God.
And, he was a hoot.
Yeah.
I remember in his class, I was jumping. I don't know why, you know, just being a spazzy second grader, and I tripped over my feet and I fell into a chair. Yeah. And I had I have this cut on my cheek, or I still have the scar.
Mm-hmm.
And I was too embarrassed to say that I tripped over my feet, so I accused a fellow student of, you know, they tripped me. That's what I told my parents.
Oh, okay.
Because I didn't want to say, you know, because I'm an idiot and tripped over my own feet. So
It's hard to look at your parents and go, Mom,
it
I'm
happens.
clumsy.
yeah, I
just a
tripped.
kid making decisions.
Yeah.
Ladies and
I
gentlemen,
remember seeing
Go ahead.
Mr. Bender. Oh, I was just going to say, I just remember seeing him out of class at Ben's in downtown Highland.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Remember there was a restaurant called Ben's? I don't know if you guys remember that.
Ben's? I don't
I
remember.
don't.
Ben's. Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, it was over by where Greek Island and that whole little downtown Highland. It's so different now. There was a Benjamin Franklin over there.
Right.
But I remember seeing him, and he had like a few cocktails, and I was just like, oh my God, he's out of his element. What is he doing here? Like, I thought teachers lived at school, you know?
You do.
And here he
You
was,
do think
just,
that.
We do. Yeah, and we do. We
Yeah.
still do, yes.
Oh,
But he was another one. Again, making, like, okay, he's teaching grade school kids, but he made me really excited about art.
Yeah.
And about learning about artists and their lives. And I remember he's the one who got me into Toulouse-Lautrec and who else? And Van Gogh. And I mean, you're talking fifth grade. We had, Northwest Indiana had some amazing teachers.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize until I went away to college how lucky we were to have such a great, colorful cast of wonderful teachers.
Yeah.
You know? And some toughies, don't get me wrong.
For sure.
You know, there were
Every
some I'm
school.
sure I liked better than others.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I love it. Callie, do you
But
have any
I gotta get
events
it.
coming up that our listeners can maybe go check you out live, meet you, shake the hand, press the flesh, buy a book?
actually, the next thing I've got, and you can kind of, all this will come together for you, is September 27th at Curls and Company on Howard Street in Chicago.
Indeed.
At the former historic Howard Street Theater. I'm going to do a book signing.
Oh, nice.
And so you can always look at, like, my Facebook page, which is under my name, Callie Redunzel.
Mm-hmm.
So, or you can, I'm sure I will be posting something on both of my websites, my work website and also my Callie's World website. I'll have like directions there and stuff like that.
Are you going to be doing
but
the
we'll
Printers
do a
Row
book
Fest
signing
again?
I don't know if I'm going to do Printers Row this year again.
Okay.
I'm going to still keep going to different bookstores. This has been a very busy year. So I'm probably, right now, I'm just going to commit to September 27th. And so we'll have I always have some like signature drink, some little munchies.
Nice.
So we make it a nice little, couple hours.
Right.
And then you can check it out. And we do have parking there in the lot behind the salon.
Mm-hmm.
and right out front. And actually, Larry, since you've been there, the street has actually calmed down a little bit. It used to be a pretty wild and crazy place. Because we're right off the red. I mean, the red line is right there.
Well, you're right. You're right there at the boundary between Evanston and Chicago on the far north side.
Yep.
For sure on Howard.
Yeah.
So what I've seen, what I've spoken to you about there, what we've observed, and through my stepbrother-in-law, who's a Chicago cop, boy, he had that area for a little while. I've heard some interesting things, but it's calmed down. You said, huh?
Well, and that's also in my book, Chicago Stories. Again, at first I'm like, oh my God, there's all this ruckus and all this stuff going on, and then you get to know some of the people on the street and some of the regulars, and some, sad cases. But at the same time, also, it's like such a ripe area with this beautiful, like historic, all these historic buildings. And there's a really cute cafe down the street, which everybody used to go to, Soul Cafe, which is now, I think it's like Rogers Park Tap Room. So they have coffee and beer. So, I may do a little something when I do my book signing with them. Where they'll stay open later.
Sure.
So you can go down and get a brewski. The street is just, it's got a lot going on. And it's, again, grown and changed like everything in Chicago. Every few years, when I moved to Chicago, Wicker Park and Logan Square were cheap to live in.
Right.
And now these are two of the most,
and slightly
like
a little more
neighborhoods.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
I remember.
Yes.
We'll definitely.
Oh, yeah. They used to call Wicker Park Needles Park.
Yeah.
For
sure.
And I got followed home one time. One of my neighbors saved the day. And, it used to be rough.
Yeah.
And now, no. Well, now you got to work. You got to watch out for other stuff. But that's life in the big city. So
yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Don't walk down alleys late at night, people.
I love it.
So
we have. This has been Callie Redunzel, author, musician, business owner. You can check her out at calliesworld.com. Bon vivant. And also check out her business interests. If you got curly hair, well, she's the one who's going to help you out with that.
Yep,
you want to go to Callie's Curls and Company. That's calliescurls.com, and check out the brick and mortar Curls and Company on Howard Street on the north side of Chicago.
She taught me how to do my hair. I'm not saying that I have been able to keep up with it, but she taught me how to do it. So
yes. Not surprising. She knows things.
Yep.
She knows things. Callie, thanks so much for calling. I will catch up with you later for sure before summer's out so we can go do something.
And maybe I will tag along.
Yeah, and we'll see if we get Quinn to tag along. We can go out and take the city by storm, huh?
Yippee!
Sounds awesome, you guys.
All right.
Yeah,
thanks for having me.
Give Pippa a big pet. Pippa and Quimby.
I will.
And Polly. Tell Polly I said hello and I miss her and love her.
Yep.
You got it.
All right, buddy.
Talk
Thank you
to you
so much. This is AM 1230, 104.7 FM, WJOB. The BS on the dial, the bright spot, as we like to say. When we come back in about 2 minutes or so, we'll go past 8 o'clock. We're going till 8:30 today. Somebody saw fit to give us that extra half hour. Coming up, man, I got some things here. Lindsey Graham, sadly,
yes, Lady
away.
Lindsay.
It's a shame. Blanche.
Yep.
Sorry, you're gone. And also, it seems since they've drained the reflecting pool that the 250-foot gash, the 300 gash, and now, according to the current occupant of the presidential office, they're 300-yard-long gashes. Somebody went into that reflecting pool and cut a football field's length with their knife.
Yeah.
We'll discuss that on the other side of this quick
All right,
break.
cool.
I'm a victim of being ran over by a semi while I was flagging. The person wasn't paying attention, and they hit me with their vehicle.
I seen a accident where we were the first people to walk up, and that picture will never leave my mind.
I've seen people get hit before. It's been horrible.
Construction zones on roadways and bridges are more than just cones and equipment. They're the workplace for thousands of dedicated union laborers.
Everybody has a family that they need to get back home to. So please just pay attention to us out here while we're working.
We all have family, and I know it's a pain in the ass, but we're trying to make the roads better for y'all.
We're doing this for everyone.
We're hardworking Hoosiers, just like you. And we all want to make it home safely.
People would just take a couple seconds to pay attention.
Be aware of where we're at, where the cone zones are at. We're all in this together, and we're all just trying to be safe.
This is Brian Short, business manager for the Indiana Laborers District Council. Everyone deserves a safe place to work. Do your part in the cone zone. Slow down, save a life. We're all in this together.
A message from Laborers International Union of North America and affiliated locals.
I'm Pastor Eric Boone, pastor of the Tree of Life Church here in the great city of Gary, Indiana. The Notre Dame Credit Union. Go beyond and above to make sure that we are in position to make that greater impact. Listen, this credit union is one of a kind, and I'm looking forward to the future because I know that we will continue to do greater things together, and I'm forever grateful for a credit union like this.
Visit NotreDameFCU.com.
Hey Region, I'm T, and I grew up in East Chicago, went to college in Gary, worked out of Munster, and raised my family in Crown Point. I'm Region to the core. I created Region Hot Sauce, the flavor of the region. Added to chicken, fish, pizza, eggs, and more for the perfect blend of heat and flavor. Visit RegionHotSauce.com for a complete list of locations or to order direct. Region Hot Sauce, the flavor of the region.
Have you ever considered becoming an iron worker? Local 395 is now accepting applications for their apprenticeship program. Go to ironworkers395.com. Look under the training section, click on apprenticeship, and scroll down to the application. You must be 18 years old, have a high school diploma or GED, and you must be physically able to perform the work of the trade. Find out more by calling the apprenticeship school in Lake Station at 219-962-7675 or visit ironworkers395.com.
AM 1230, WJOB, FM 104.7. The bright spot on the dial, that's what they said. Me, Michelle Quinn, Adriana Alvarez, who is now in process with weather and traffic.
Yep. So currently right now at the Jack and Van Til Studios, it is 78 degrees outside and probably about 80 degrees here in the studio. We are seeing... ads on AccuWeather.com.
We're seeing condensation on the windows inside.
Yeah. Today we're seeing highs of 95 degrees, lows of 74 degrees. Mostly sunny, hot, and a bit humid later on tonight. Tomorrow, Wednesday, highs of 96, lows of 76. Sunshine and hot weather, partly cloudy and very warm. Thursday, highs of 92, lows of 71. Thunderstorm around in the PM, clear, warm, and humid throughout the rest of the nighttime. Taking a look at traffic. Traffic is looking pretty good in the northwest region. We may have actually, let's see here. 65 going north and south is looking pretty good. 80 going east and west is looking good. 90 going east and west is looking good. Chicago Skyway, Bishop Ford is looking a bit heavy going west. Right there at the connector. But Dan Ryan is looking pretty good. That's all for your traffic and weather.
Thank you so much, Adriana. Appreciate you.
What?
It was on the tip of my tongue. What do you want to do? What do you want to talk about first? Lindsey Graham,
we can...
or the draining of the reflection pool, the reflecting pool.
Oh,
again.
no. Well, let's talk about Lady Lindsey first.
Lady Lindsey. I have to say, it's a shame. You never want to see people die. You say it. We say it. Me personally. Now, all that said. That said. I didn't know Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham, to me, was nothing but a talking head politician.
Mm-hmm.
I do remember when he seemed to have a sense of self-awareness about him and not sucking up two people, especially when he was allied with McCain and Lieberman.
Right.
Back in the day. What has... And it's a shame. I mean, aortic dissection, anybody can tell you, it's sudden, it's quick, and your chances of surviving that are nil to none.
Right.
It happens, and
Right.
it's a shame. It is a shame. However, I just wonder if at the last minute before Mr. Graham left
Met his
this
maker,
plane,
right.
did he have that flash of self-awareness and
I don't
went, "Oh, I messed up," or did he go on into that great good night, nice and happy, and so on? You know, who knows? It's things I wonder.
Sure.
This is a man who vehemently opposed Donald Trump as politicians. You know, let's understand they're politicians.
Y'all
They
did
changed their
until
mind.
you didn't, so
Y'all
I
did
don't want to
until
hear
you
it.
didn't. And if in recent history Senator Graham's going to be remembered for anything, it's for his obeisance and his obeying and his butt licking and the being a lick spittle to the president. It's a shame. I did watch that. I remember, Lindsey Graham against. And
Right.
of course, they were running, he was running against them in 2016 in the early days of the Republican nomination process and so on. I get it. You're going to say those things. But to do a complete 180 like that, I wonder how many of your own principles, I wonder how many of Lindsey Graham's principles, because I would like to believe he was a principled person.
Right.
At
Sure.
maybe one time.
Yeah.
At what cost was the need to be included? And he wasn't dumb. He wasn't an idiot. He knew what he was talking about, especially as far as foreign policy goes.
Sure.
He was a bit hawkish. I mean, I'll get that.
Yeah.
That was the group he fell in with. That's fine.
Right.
But that need, what was that need that he had that, to belong? How strong was that he had to turn around? And again, I'm going to say possibly sacrificed his core principles to follow and to be a sycophant for the president.
In all of the, pieces that were written on him over the weekend, there was one of them tried to make the argument that Lindsey decided to, do the 180 to keep the Republican Party together, and that he was the watcher to keep it. And
that is a noble thing too, if that was the case.
No.
See, and that's where I have a struggle. Was he being that canary in the coal mine? At the beginning.
A canary in a coal mine
Telling you
warns
what's
people.
well, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
And then once things shook out as they did he say, "Oh well, I'm just going to join the coal miners," and not listen to what's coming down the road potentially.
I think we can all agree that he ended up, he was talking, what was his famous line? We elect this man, blah blah blah, and we deserve it. So
and we did, well.
Yeah, man, what he ended up saying, he's been quoted many times, and then they went to play. He and Trump went to play golf,
right?
And then all of a sudden, now he's the greatest thing.
Now we're all good. Now we're friends.
Yeah, it's great.
And again, I can give the benefit of the doubt, although I won't give it much credence. Did he do that did he make that change with noble purposes, noble goals? Debatable.
I don't.
Debatable for sure. And hey, there it is. Now we see that the governor and the current presidential occupant recommended Lindsey's sister, and she did get that position until the general election. And it remains to be seen whether Ms. Graham is going to, or Darlene, is Graham her last name?
No, Darlene Graham, and I
can't recall the last
either.
name. Somebody help us out on the chat. Do something positive there. So is she going to continue to run? I don't think so. Is she going to, wangle her way onto the ballot?
Yeah, well, Tucker made an interesting, because I was kind of, jawing about it last night.
Right.
And he's like, I don't know why the Dems are getting all up in arms about her, taking his spot he's like, that's basically tradition.
Well, that's how it goes.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
Right. And he's like, so I don't know why the Dems are, having a stroke about this because it is.
I'm not upset about it because I know government. That's how it works.
Sure. I would kind of I would at least appreciate, or I would appreciate it more if maybe she had some, government behind her. But then I have to think, did Sonny Bono's wife have government
it's
behind
interesting.
her? When she took his spot after he ran into a tree?
Our friend Neil. Yeah, exactly. And don't go skiing. Our friend Neil, who you know as I write the last name here.
Yep.
His grandmother served out the remainder of his grandfather's term at the Indiana General Assembly.
Okay.
John Fromm, former chief of police for Hammond.
Yeah.
And namesake for, or not John Fromm, John Mahoney.
Right.
And namesake for John Mahoney Drive over there in the old FOP land.
Yeah.
He was a state congressman.
Right.
Rep. Mm-hmm. And he died in office, and his wife, Donna Bell, finished the rest of it out. And still somewhere floating around in the family archives is the resolution and all that. So I kind of, that is a thing that happens.
Yeah.
Democrats who are complaining about this, I'm not going to get into that, but they're doing what is to be done. What the law allows
done,
for.
It's
There's
what
nothing,
is done. And
the optics now with the president coming out and saying, well, I nominate blah, blah, blah. Well, dude, it ain't your place, but you got to put yourself into everything, even a colleague's death. Why not?
Did he say anything nice about Lady Lindsay or no?
About Blanche?
Yeah.
Good golfer, or wasn't that good a golf? You know how it goes.
Okay.
It's a compliment. It's backhanded, and then we're on to the next thing. 1,000-yard gash in the reflecting pool. You name it. Have we won in Iraq yet? Just asking. It is 8 o'clock. WJOB 1230 AM 107 FM.
But
104.7 FM.
But we know that the Strait of Hormuz is closed again because the Iranians closed it because they can do that now because they didn't do it before.
What was the need? Nobody.
Yeah, but we do it now.
I hope people realize this is certainly a war of choice. Okay, throw whatever you want behind it. Oh, state, largest state sponsor of terrorism. Yeah, we know all those facts. But this is a war of choice, folks. This was made by choice. Okay, it's as if the current occupant of the presidential office woke up and said, I think we'll go screw with Iran today. Which, whatever. We know the history, but the reasoning behind these things show a lack of historical knowledge at the highest office in the land, and a lack of historical knowledge, well, all around us.
When the war of Iraq looks like a legitimate...
Which it's not.
Yeah, when that looks better thought out and better... we're in trouble. It's very, very sad. And that kind of segues into going back to state politics. Our lieutenant governor, he doesn't want Muslims to pray 5 times a day, which my only question to that, here's my question. There are 2 mosques in Northwest Indiana, one in Maryville and one in Highland, and I defy anyone to tell me when the blaring of the, 5 times a day, the prayer.
Well, when is the guy getting up in the tower and calling everybody to prayer publicly?
Yeah.
It's not happening. Now, Beckwith, Lieutenant Governor Beckwith did say this is happening in Fishers. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you. Fishers and I believe Carmel, Indiana. That, as I read the story, in Beckwith's words, it seems as if the mosques in these areas, and I don't know what particular sect of Islam they are, or whatever, it doesn't matter. But I did a little bit of research online, a few different sources. There, as far as I could tell, there are no calls to public calls to prayer emanating from the mosque in Fishers. Or let's assume in Carmel, too. Now, if we're going to do that, okay, if we let's say hypothetically Fuhrer Jr. Beckwith gets his way, right? First Amendment out the window.
Right.
Let's just say that happens. Then are we going to go after the Christian churches for waking me up at 8 o'clock every morning?
Nope.
If we're going to enforce this. But then again, as we hear people have their opinions on Islam and, well, they, and so on. I hear it on this station damn near every day of the week.
Right.
Muslims this and Muslims that. Dude, I don't think you ever met one. But hey, that's your opinion. That's fine. We're the station that dares to listen. 845-1100 if you want to call in. Yeah, we're going to a half hour today.
Yeah.
So call in if you like.
Next
Yes,
25.
Anthony, it is the Muslim hour now, you idiot. Come on. Dude, really? Why don't you call in and ask that? You got to throw it on the chat board and be all, sneaky, underhanded.
Ooh.
You're so cool, Anthony. My hero. My hero. Back to Micah Beckwith. So he wants to do this because, and what is his reason? What's his reason? Why does Beckwith want to do this?
Well, I know that I saw his statement on because he said, for all the media who are going to ask me about it, yes, this is what I believe, and that is my statement.
That's
okay.
it. And that's it. And, here we go. We got some of the, we hear the parrots. We hear the local parrots from the Northwest Indiana Crank Callers Union.
Right.
We hear those parrots saying the same thing. I've heard it 3 times on this station now in about the last 2 weeks. People referring to Islam as a demonic death cult. That was said verbatim on yesterday's morning show. A demonic death cult, verbatim.
Okay.
And so now we got somebody parroting the lieutenant governor's words. So that's good. You're a follower, not a leader. Beckwith has also actively campaigned to ban mosques in America from broadcasting the Muslim call to prayer over loudspeakers. Again, where is that happening?
Yeah,
Oh, and by the way, you fools out there, when you say Sharia law, you're really saying law. Good job. But go ahead.
Yeah.
Where is this happening? 845-1100 if you know where these calls to prayer are happening.
If you live in the vicinity of
a mosque,
of the
is
mosque
this happening
in
near you?
Maryville or in Highland, and the mosque in Highland is actually near, it's right off Indianapolis Boulevard. So it's behind. No, actually, just because of, because people are dumb, I'm not going to say exactly where it is because I don't want to bring attention to that. Yeah,
got a name on that person? No? All right. Unfortunately, I agree with you.
Right.
Not to give it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate.
But yeah, if you know, you know. But if you're around there, please call us in and tell me, because I would think that, driving by, and if they're, blaring a siren 4-5 times a day in all the years, because it was built, I want to say 2000. I remember covering a story there in like 09 or 10.
Mm-hmm.
And, countless times that I've driven past, in that vicinity, you'd think 5 times a day you'd have heard the sirens go off at some point. And guess what? I'm not hearing them. So can somebody tell me?
For sure. We do have a caller on the line. Thank you so much.
Is it an anonymous caller?
It seems to be an anonymous caller.
Oh, goody. Someone who won't. Hi.
Hello.
So my church in East Chicago does a call to prayer 2 times a day.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So does that mean we have to stop it?
Well, that's part of the question. If our lieutenant governor,
we ring our bells, ring our bells twice a day, and they are very loud bells. You can hear them across the entire south side of East Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Which church?
St. Stanislaus.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
For sure.
12 o'clock and 6 o'clock they ring
every day, right?
Which is an official call to prayer for the Catholics.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So the Christian Micah Beckwith, as he claims, now you seem, caller, you seem to be a regular practitioner of your faith, so you know that Catholicism is indeed Christianity and so on.
Yes.
So how? Again, I have to ask Micah Beckwith. How does he square that with his? If you are a Christian and your church, and I assume the Protestant churches do it also. I don't think
Right.
Beckwith is a Catholic. He's one of your garden variety Protestants. Does his church do that? What sort of call to prayer does his church have? And are you going to do it for the Christians and anybody else that wants to ring a bell to announce that you're going to come to prayer? Is that going to happen?
Then no Christian church, like a Catholic church that rings its bells before Mass, has to stop.
Yeah.
Because that's a call to prayer.
Yep. Yep. Growing up in Munster, it was always St. Tom's bells for me, and then maybe St. Paul Lutheran.
Yes.
I almost said Episcopalian. Lutheran. So that's the question I have. So if Beckwith is going to, tilt at this windmill here like a moron,
right?
Well, you're going to make it for everybody. Oh, but what do you think? What do you think Beckwith's answer is going to be, caller? If he were to have the stones to come on and answer those questions,
well,
what do you think his answer would be?
I have no idea. He would justify it somehow. And one of the questions I would have is if you call Islam a cult or death cult, as he did. As a Catholic, I could look at his Protestantism and say that that's a cult.
Well, sure.
Well, indeed.
Define a cult.
Hey,
and
Luther was excommunicated, man. You're a death cult now. There it is.
Yes. Anyway, I just thought I'd call in.
Yeah, we appreciate that. Thank you. But
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Exactly. That's the kind of the whole thing. And what can we say, Micah or Lieutenant Governor, with all due respect, I think you need to worry about your own house and, your bestie's pervert son and all the nonsense that went on in your office. I think
Is this allegedly?
No.
Oh, okay, good. Just checking.
No, it's not alleged. I mean, it's been reported on that, his...
It has. We don't get it much up here because...
Right. I think you have better things to worry about than the Muslims who aren't bothering you.
Right. And this goes along with all... It just falls into the BS that comes out of some of the higher levels of government, in this case from the national administration, filtered down here. Okay, so we got the government has said, and I've heard this for years, and I have yet to see any kind of hard proof. Muslim terrorist sleeper cells. Okay, the federal government. Again, I'm going to check to make sure around 1,500 of these sleeper cells are through the United States, according to our federal government. Yet ICE wants to deport 10 million people.
Right.
Why are we not going after these sleeper cells that you say are here that are terrorists that do not follow a particular, they follow an ideology that they have twisted.
Right.
Okay, that's one thing we got to remember. Things can be twisted, folks. Catholic Church and Christian churches have done it several times and still do. Why isn't ICE going after these Muslim sleeper cells? Why isn't Beckwith, because he seems like a man who will believe anything that gets spit out of GQP, the QAnon crowd, the MAGA crowd, spit out of their mouths. How come Beckwith isn't going, referring to his Christian heritage that he loves to put out there?
Right.
He wears it like a damn superhero costume.
Like his tight, skinny pants.
Like his tight pants. I mean, we can tell your religion, bud. But why aren't you coming out and saying something about those? Oh, because it's BS. Right? Because you're smart enough, Micah, to know it's BS, and so's everybody else who listens and who reads. Okay, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt here, Lieutenant Governor. And why? The Christian thing would be too. We don't hear that. It's hate. He came out as a Christian, ladies and gentlemen, as many Christians do. People that even call this station and repeat word for word, verbatim. Well, I'm a Christian. Dude, if you're a Christian, why are you spouting this crap?
Right.
How do you reconcile that with what you say? Are you that unself-aware? And I'm not the king of self-awareness. My God, you know I'm chaos when I walk through the door most days.
Right.
Okay? And I'll piss you off, too. I get it. But why say these things and then just sit there and, to troll the libs, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
It's to troll the libs, and boy, oh boy. Boy, are you trolling, I guess. Good for you. We got another caller, 845-1100. Got to take a breath and a drink here. Caller, who are you? Tell us, what's going on?
Good morning, this is TR. The reason this comes out like that, it's talking points.
Mm-hmm.
And you can go up and down the dial, and you know the radio stations, or you can get your talking points when you get up and watch Fox or AON, and they only give you they don't give you all the news.
Right.
Sure.
Had to call them. Fox literally had to call themselves entertainment.
Mm-hmm,
So all the people that we know that are listening to your show, but they won't say that they are.
Right.
Foxes, and they call themselves entertainment because they were sued for almost $1 billion when they got caught lying, and that's why Tucker went away. But the reason I'm calling is I appreciate listening to other stations, and I do listen to other stations, and I don't get my talking points when I wake up in the morning and become hateful.
Right.
Here's one perfect example that just blew my mind. I think he calls himself the Great American or whatever, Bill Cunningham.
Okay.
Another, whack tree. He was touting our illustrious leader. And he was giving all the talking points. And the one that blew my mind was how we should be thankful that we have a leader that does all these A, B, and C things. And then his bottom line was he hasn't taken a paycheck because he's so patriotic. But exactly. But yet all these right-wing wackos that are ill-informed, he never said that this every day he is enriching himself. He has enriched himself to the point he never brought this up since he's been in there, and you don't hear this on the other stations. He has enriched himself. I'm going to say this slowly for all of you right-wing wingnuts out there. He has enriched himself over $2.5 billion. Can that sink in, people?
See, now I thought it was more. I thought the $2 billion, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I thought the $2 billion. I thought that was only Jared. I've heard the rest of these clowns. I thought I saw numbers. Was it like $6 billion? Or am I just?
Well, we'll never know.
Okay.
We will
right.
never know because there are so many tentacles that they are drawing money in from now. And it's even if Joe Biden and Hunter Biden and all this baloney and Nancy Pelosi, and that's been going on for decades.
Right.
That is insignificant. That is an insignificant amount of money. That if and when they did that, that's wrong. I don't agree with it.
Right.
We say they all do it, and they all do. But this is this is the amount of money is staggering.
And they're not even shy about it.
It's staggering. And in the meantime, what they're doing is they're throwing out all of these distractions in this stupid Liberace move to revamp the White House. It's going to take how much money to make it normal again, where it's not a throne room.
Right.
In the meantime, all these distractions are happening so they can keep redacting the Epstein files. And now we have all these Epstein billionaires getting away with, and I'm sure it's literally, and it comes down to it, rape and murder.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. And how Christian is that? Let me ask all the people. How Christian is that?
Well,
I got to ask you right here your opinion, or why is the federal government refusing to hand over any sort of documents about Epstein's ranch to the state of New Mexico so they could properly investigate what happened there?
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I know people in law enforcement that said decades ago, years ago, they should have not just that area, that specific area, but miles around. They need to go in there with cadaver dogs and ground radar and do a thorough sweep and Oh yeah, that's very interesting. There's why? That's a good question. But yet, let's go back to when we saw Pam Bondi with her table full of documents that were all supposed to be released.
Right.
So whatever happened with that? But then let's go back to Pam Bondi again. She was the Attorney General in Florida when Epstein was slapped on the wrist, and he was still running around doing whatever he wanted to do.
Sure.
There is no accountability, but they'll turn it around and they'll throw it in it's all your fault. You're part of it.
Right.
Really? I don't understand that. I don't understand it. It's like the Pee Wee Herman. I know I am, but what are you?
Right. Well,
I don't get it.
That's what a lot of it, on both sides, that's what a lot of it has come down to finally, is just, the getting down in the mud slinging, the wild, unverifiable claims that come out from both sides, but, we know which side's in power right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so on. It's just, it's almost getting to a point where I wonder how surprised I'll be waking up and hearing on the radio that something has happened. Do you follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well,
that
yes.
somebody finally worked the immediate death crane game and pulled this guy out. And
right.
So on. I'm not. It's 2 more years of this. I don't know. Can we do it? There's a thing. I think we can.
Well,
we did it before.
Unfortunately, it's costing all of us top down.
Yep.
And I know a lot of people that had red hats that don't have them anymore, because when they go to the gas pump, when they go to the grocery store, it's hitting them, and they know that these people that are pulling all the levers right now, they've never shopped. They've never pumped gas.
No.
They've never had a job. And here's one thing that I want before I let someone else get on.
Yep.
Carolyn Levitt, when I think it was last week, she had the audacity to come up there and she was vilifying, I think it was Gen Z and whatever, blah, 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 calling them lazy and incompetent.
And she's a millennial, so congratulations. You're doing what the boomers...
married to a 60-some-year-old man.
Not only... Exactly. Not only that, does she have no self-awareness?
No.
Because what jobs has she had? What has she done other than marry someone... I guess he's in his 60s.
Yeah, adjacent to power.
And now, what has she accomplished? Nothing. Zero. She has no. What has she done? Zero. Other than what?
Yeah, outside. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know what her.
It's funny though that a millennial is now saying that about Gen Z. That is hilarious.
No, she's Gen Z. She's 28.
Oh, she's not even 30.
No,
yeah,
she's still
considered Gen Z.
No. Okay,
she's
gotcha.
part of the people that she said that were born with silver spoons in their mouths. The entire Gen Z generation.
Right.
Yeah.
All Gen Z was born with silver
she's-
spoons in their mouths.
Yep.
Jesus.
And
I'll
she's
have to
never
run
had a
that past
job.
my
One
niece.
other thing.
Yep.
I just wanted to touch on the immigration real quick. Going back to, how many times have we heard anchor babies and birthright citizenship? And I doubt if you ever see this on AON, Fox Entertainment,
right.
And such. Well, you have Ramaswamy, you have Ted Cruz, you have Marco Rubio. But the biggest one that the biggest hypocrisy is, and someone brought this up to me, it is Trump himself. His mother, I think it took her 14 years when she literally conceived of him when he was.
He's an anchor baby.
She was not a U.S. citizen.
Right.
Why has nobody brought that up?
Probably because he hates that part of himself and wants to kill it.
Right.
Oops.
Yep.
Well, I wish people would bring that up. I don't know why anybody's ever brought that up, and I did not. I was not aware of that.
Was Ivana Trump a citizen?
No.
Right away? I mean, all of Trump's kids have got to be anchor babies.
They are.
Except for Tiffany.
Oops again.
Yeah.
Oops. They all need to be called out. And not only that, none of my friends' father-in-laws were literally a KGB operative or officer.
Right. You're not named Krasnov, no.
Right.
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
Yep. For
But-
sure.
Okay.
For sure. Thank
Well,
you so much
anyway,
for the
enjoy
call.
your day, sir. Thank you.
Appreciate you. We got about 6 minutes left here. Let's take it out.
That was so funny how. Sorry, go ahead. That was
No,
so
go
funny
ahead,
with
please.
Caroline.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Caroline.
And she was saying that because that reminded me. I think she appeared on. I want to say she appeared on Fox News saying that.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, she did. She appeared on Fox News claiming that Gen Z was born with silver spoons in their mouths. Alongside with that, Fox News also claimed that the highly educated are to blame at the voting polls.
Oh, yes.
Always.
I heard
Always.
that and I was like, wait, I need you guys to restate it. And they stated it multiple times throughout different shows.
Yeah, it's that hate against higher ed.
Because
being educated is a bias.
If you have an educated,
Yep, for sure.
If you have an educated, what's the word?
If
I'm
you have an
looking for?
educated constituency,
Yes, that.
you have to work harder.
Yeah, that
to
and
keep
also
your position.
it's harder to
That's it.
control an educated group. It's harder because then they're gonna want to go against it.
Jed's walking in, gritting his teeth. He must have gotten a bunch of texts in the last half. Or you telling, oh, hey, we got 5 minutes, man.
Yeah, we're good.
2 minutes. 2 minutes, all right. Who's coming up at 8:30, Jim? That was the question. Karen Corellis of Corellis Roofing. Sponsor Corellis? No, just Karen Corellis coming in.
Oh, I was supposed to mention.
Oh, go ahead.
Yes, we had something to mention.
Yes, I apologize.
Hold up. Let me
It
grab
was
it.
something with the Boys and Girls Club, correct?
Yup, let me grab
Yep.
it. Where is it?
The Hammond Boys and Girls Club?
There we are. No.
Okay.
No. Let me pull it up. Okay. From our fearless leader, Ms. Suggs, there is an opportunity. The Tolston Opportunity Campus Community Capital Campaign has begun. You may get involved by joining our public donor wall on campus. Individuals who make a gift of $100 or more will be recognized on the door wall, creating a lasting tribute to those who help make this transformational project possible, while helping ensure future generations of youth and families have access to life-changing opportunities. To contribute and join the legacy of impact, whoops, didn't mean to pull that down. Please click this link. You will be directed to the BGC Boys and Girls Club fundraising page for the Tolston Capital Campaign. So that is, you can scan the QR code or go to the link, givebutter, just like it sounds, .com /Tolston-opportunity-campus-campaign YXTFE2.
If you would,
Yep.
when is the date for that event?
I'm looking. I think it's ongoing. They've announced it, that it has started. And there's naming rights available for corporations that might want to, for the teen lounge, the tween room, cafeteria. You can buy a bench. You can buy a decorative lighting installation.
Nice.
The Learning Center.
Any amount you can give.
Any amount you can give, you can certainly contribute.
I'll tell you what. Let's since you are speaking with Verley, or have that information. Let's see if we could get Verley to call in next week.
Okay, sure.
And she could tell us all about that, and we could have something to throw up on the board so people can see where to go, how to donate.
Absolutely. Well,
and so on.
if she can,
If you're able, let's set it up for next week. Call in for a few minutes. Give us that information.
Right. So, all right, Jed's telling us he's kicking us out.
Jed's going to get the hell out of here. That's what they said.
Yep.
AM 1230 WJOB.
Yep. Michelle Quinn,
104.7
Adriana
FM.
Alvarez, Larry Kyleman. See you next Tuesday, everyone.
You got it. More bright spots coming up.
Tech Credit Union supports the essential role of union labor in building strong communities. That's why we offer hassle-free banking, financial empowerment, and a commitment to your success. Save for the future, handle life's challenges, and trust a partner that stands by hardworking union members. Tech Credit Union, the better option for you and your money. Visit techcu.org or call 800-276-8324. Tech Credit Union, supporting union families every step of the way.
I'm a victim of being ran over by a semi while I was flagging. The person wasn't paying attention and they hit me with their vehicle.
I seen a accident where we were the first people to walk up, and that picture will never leave my mind.
I've seen people get hit before. It's been horrible.
Construction zones on roadways and bridges are more than just cones and equipment. They're the workplace for thousands of dedicated union laborers.
Everybody has a family that they need to get back home to, so please just pay attention to us out here while we're working.
We all have family, and I know it's a pain in the ass, but we're trying to make the roads better for y'all.
We're doing this for everyone.
We're hardworking Hoosiers, just like you, and we all want to make it home safely.
People would just take a couple seconds to pay attention.
Be aware where we're at, where the cone zones are at. We're all in this together, and we're all just trying to be safe.
This is Brian Short, Business Manager for the Indiana Laborers District Council. Everyone deserves a safe place to work. Do your part in the cone zone. Slow down, save a life. We're all in this together.
A message from Laborers International Union of North America and affiliated locals.
Enjoy the taste of summer at the Farmers Market at Fox Point. Every Tuesday from 9 to 1, shop locally grown fresh produce, delicious baked goods, artisanal treats, and local culinary creations. Just minutes from I-8094, the Farmers Market at Fox Point in Lansing, Illinois is a perfect spot to hear acoustic musicians, stretch with morning yoga, and enjoy community fun throughout the season. To see all vendors and entertainment, visit foxpoint.org. That's point with an E, foxpoint.org.
Plumbers Local 210 is building the future, and we're looking for service plumbers to join our team. Our training center invests nearly $500,000 every year to make sure our members are the best in the industry. From a 5-year apprenticeship and an associate degree at Ivy Tech to ongoing certifications in safety and new technology, our plumbers are trained for excellence. Every member is drug tested and licensed for your safety and peace of mind. When you need plumbing work done, make sure you ask for the license. It's your right to ask.
Hey, everybody. I know you're getting tired of hearing me, even though I'm not supposed to be here, but I am. I'll actually be on tomorrow again, too. But it's nice to be back from a rather lengthy vacation. I'm Jim Diedlow, of course. You have an accident, Adriana, and we appreciate everybody who's been texting in on this thing, and tell us about it.
Yep, so currently right now we got an accident, 2 left lanes blocked on a tri-state north before Chicago Road. That was updated about 7 minutes ago.
So that's up to O'Hare. So on the way...
Nope, that's not up to O'Hare. On the tri-state I-294 on 80 going north. Oh, sorry, going... What? Going west, I'm sorry. On 80 going east, oh my goodness. 80
right,
going
help
west.
Me out
there
here.
We go.
All
That's
right.
what I'm looking at right now. We got it right here. It shows it is right by the Thornton Quarry.
Oh, okay.
So as you're going west, it's going to start right before the state line, and then it extends all the way to Thornton Quarry.
All right, so I see it also here, and it is... Basically, it goes from Thornton Quarry all the way to Calumet Avenue. So if you're going westbound and you do want to go to Chicago or to Midway or to O'Hare, I'm guessing you could get on after the split to the Bishop Ford, but you can't get on at Torrance. You'd still run into it.
Yeah.
So what a hassle that is.
We got that in traffic by the connector of the Bishop Ford, Dan Ryan. West on the Bishop Ford, north on the Dan Ryan.
All right, there you go. So the Bishop Ford into the Dan Ryan is bad also, and also you have that Borman/Kingery Expressway. In terms of weather, how hot is it going to get today?
It's hot. It is about 81 degrees outside, and it's going to be 95 today, lows of 74, mostly sunny and hot. If you are outside for extended periods of time, be cautious, stay hydrated. Tonight we're seeing clear, warm, humid temperatures. On Wednesday, highs of 96, lows of 76. Thursday, highs of 92, lows of 71. We're just seeing hot, humid weather all throughout this week into next week. So that's all for you.
And I want to say thank you to the folks at Tradewinds that went out and played in the outing yesterday. Saw a lot of people. It was a lot of money made for Tradewinds, and everybody who participated, everybody who donated. The James and Betty Dye Foundation were the main sponsors. Wintrust Bank also gave some dough. Powers Health and Strachan Van Til, kind of the same group that also keeps us afloat and thriving here. So a lot of money made for Tradewinds, which is one of our kind of more important outings of the year. I play in only like 3 or 4 anymore, and that's one of them. I want to say thanks to Laborers 41, Scott Sparks, and to Henson and to Tim. Rick Henson and Scott Sparks are both out of Laborers Local 41. And then his friend Tim, I forget his last name, the guy who played center for Purdue Calumet in the mid-'90s, we won. And I don't know how that happened. Partly we hit like 3 or 4 35-foot putts, and that'll make you drink more and win the Tradewinds outing. So thank you. All right, I'm gonna tape an interview right now, and you'll be able to find it on my podcast, Jim Deedlow, in a day or so. You'll be able to find it on YouTube, of course, once we repost it, and of course you can hear it again and again here on WJOB. Hey everybody, I'm Jim Deedlow, owner here of WJOB, former morning host, kind of still here. And if there's anything I like to do, it is to profile people who have come from the region and have done well and have done important work. And we have one of those on the line right now, and that is Karen Corellis-Reuter. Karen, how are you today?
Hi, Jim. I'm doing great. Hello from Boston.
From Boston. It wasn't always Boston, though, was it? You grew up right down the street. Tell us about it.
You better believe it. Well, I'm a proud Hammond graduate, grew up in South Hammond. As you were given the traffic report, I realized I grew up right off of the Calumet Avenue exit. Proud Hammond High graduate, studied at Purdue, worked in the mills, and then made my way out to Boston for a job after graduating.
So let's give it some context. We'll come back at the end of this, and we'll go into some of the local stuff and the Inland Steel and all, and the Corellis Roofing and that kind of thing. But you left. You went to Purdue. You went down to Lafayette, correct? What'd you get a degree in down there?
So my degree was in industrial design, but that's not exactly where I started. So I was, I didn't have the greatest SAT scores, Jim. My math scores were pretty dismal. And I remember a wonderful conversation with my dad, George. And, he said, well, honey, it looks like it's a state school for you. And luckily, that state school turned out to be Purdue. And I started majoring in architecture. I thought, roofers need architects. But I was always interested sketching, drawing cars and products, hair dryers, shampoo bottles, all of that. At one point during my sophomore year at Purdue, a professor asked to speak to me after class, not always a great sign. And he said, have you noticed your drawings are a little different than the rest of the class? They're drawing nature and flowers, and you're drawing hair dryers and shampoo bottles and toasters. And he said, have you ever heard of industrial design? And I said, what is it? And he said, well, it's like an architect for product. And I remember that exact moment. It was in a building that doesn't exist anymore down in West Lafayette, the Michael Golden Labs. And I said to him, you can be that? And he said, yes. And I've never looked back.
That took you out west. Tell us about that.
It took me out east first, so it took me. Yeah, so it.
Don't worry, we'll cut. We're taping live on WJOB since I own it. I just tape everything live, and it just works out better. We'll cut that out. But anyways, all right. So you went after school. You went out east.
I went out east, and back then the computer industry was really booming. Computers were, it sounds like an ancient story, but it wasn't that long ago. Computers were starting to make their way out of the big computer rooms and onto desktops, and industrial designers were hired to design the objects, the ones that we know so well today, the monitors and screens in front of us, the keyboards, the printers, mice, to really start to design for the person who was going to be using this. And so I spent my first 12 years in the computer industry for a company called Wang Laboratories.
Another company
called Digital Equipment Corporation, both large Boston-based founder entrepreneurial companies.
How'd you get to Nike and Reebok?
Well, the story is really quite interesting. So when I was at Digital, I got the project of a lifetime, Jim. I got sent over to the south of France to a trade show to show computers of the future, which our group had designed. And I met my husband Dieter there. He also worked for Digital Equipment. He's from Germany. And so from Boston, I went to Munich, Germany for 7 years. And that's where I started to focus on aspects of color, material, finish, print, and pattern. And Nike found me in a little studio in Munich and recruited me to Portland, Oregon, to join as a design director.
How many years there?
I was there for 12 years.
Did you like designing shoes for men that you made smaller for women?
I didn't like that, right? Obviously I didn't like that. I was not specifically designing shoes. I was working at first on equipment, watches, eyewear, and then really focused on the color, material, print pattern aspect of the footwear for about 10 years. So no, I didn't. I was creative director for women's for a couple of years as well. And that's sort of when that, insidious little earworm of Shrink It and Pink It first landed on my radar. And I didn't like it then, and I don't like it now.
We're talking to Karen Corellis-Reuter. She has written a book. It's called Man Made, and we'll get to that in just a second. But she is one of our own. Grew up right around down here. George Corellis started Corellis Roofing. Pete Corellis is her brother. And it's kind of cool to see what people in the region have gone on to do, even if they went on to live somewhere else. So let's continue with this. Karen, you're at Nike. How do you wind up at Reebok?
Well, living in Portland, Oregon was wonderful, but it was a long way from home. It was a long way from Chicago. My parents. It was a long way from my in-laws in Germany, and so we were still trying to get back east, whether that would be Chicago or Boston again. And I landed in Boston, and I started to consult. So I was consulting to the industry, working with Puma and Timberland and Vans and the North Face, and really enjoying that consulting work. And a job came up for basically for a chief design officer at Reebok. And it was right down the street from where I was living. Reebok is one of the Boston-based companies. So if you know the sneaker industry in the U.S., you're either in Portland, Oregon, or in Boston, Massachusetts. And Reebok was in Boston. And it was one of those brands that I had always cheered for. When you work in that competitive industry, there are very few other brands you cheer for. But Reebok was one of those brands. And it attracted me because many, many years ago, it was the first brand that made a shoe for women. It made the Freestyle, which was for aerobics.
So you've had obviously you go through Purdue, you go through working in computers, you're at Nike, and then you're at Reebok living out east. And something is working on you. What is that when it comes to designing for women?
Well, what started to work on me was a statistic that I read, and it was that only 18% of practicing industrial designers, which I am, were in practice in the U.S. Less than 25% of licensed architects in the U.S. were women, and probably around 12% of mechanical engineers were women. And so it really shined a light. That one statistic shined a light on me that said, we are living in a world designed by men for men. And so whether or not we get more women into design or we start to design for more women, we have to shift something. And that's what really got me focused and started my research into, it's not just the sneakers that they scale down from a man's size and color it a stereotypical color. It's a lot of products. And that goes from insulting to deadly.
You know this area, steel mill, roofers, kind of hard guy based. There's people listening right now that may be saying, well, okay, it's designed for men and, women just haven't gotten there yet. And they're maybe even at some level kind of okay with that. But there's a danger factor here. And I think I didn't realize it till I read your book or read parts of your book. And I saw the one statistic of women are 17% more likely to die in an auto accident. Why is that?
Well, one of the main reasons that is a fact is that we do not test with female crash test dummies to receive a 5-star NCAP safety rating. So we're testing with, not to minimize it, but we're testing with a shrink it and pink it crash test dummies that's built around a male anatomy. And our biomechanics are different, right? We're built different. Our structure is different. And not only that, when we do use that shrinked and pinked version to test our cars, Jim, we're not testing them behind the wheel. So there are tests for women's size crash test dummies in the passenger seat, but they're not accurate to our bodies, and we're not testing behind the wheel. And, part of my research uncovered that, for many, many years, even as recently, I believe, as 2021, about 2 million more women get their license every year. So it results in cars that are designed for the male anatomy, resulting in 17% more death and 73% more injury as a result of a car crash.
Any other examples of the built world designed more with men in mind and not women?
Yeah, so where do you want to start?
I know, I read, I was like, okay, just pick one. I'll pick one. We went on vacation, and we wound up staying in a hotel one night, and my wife is like, was reading your book. I said, oh, here it is. She goes, what's that? And she goes, here's an example. Look at this, the shower. A woman would never design the shower to come straight down because she has her hair. She doesn't want to get wet. She wants it coming out of the wall. That's just a minor example. You give one.
Sure. So, the continuum is insulting to deadly. So I'll give you one that's insulting. So imagine that you go to work every day. I look at the trades, the construction industry, and you're provided equipment that was designed, apparel even, clothing that was designed for a male body. So I don't know about you, Jim, but I bet you've shown up to a party either overdressed or underdressed. Is that true?
Usually underdressed, but yes.
Okay. Yeah. So, that has happened to most of us. And that's something that we called enclosed cognition. And I know when that has happened to me, I haven't brought my best self to that event. I feel a little bit left out. I'm not, feeling comfortable in my own body. Now, that's a party, but imagine showing up to work every day in something that feels like a costume that wasn't designed for you, whether it's a safety vest or a police officer's pants that were designed for a men's body, or a shirt, firefighters' gloves. That all adds up. And that's something that I would say goes from insulting to uncomfortable and oftentimes dangerous.
You talk about the first 6 female astronauts, and you talk about the spacewalk that was supposed to be 2 women, and it couldn't be because they didn't have enough smaller spacesuits. Talk about that.
Well, the first spacewalk, where it was going to be all female, was not able to take place because they had not equipped the space station with a suit that fit both women. And so one woman had to be swapped out. And it was a few years later that it was possible for all female to do a spacewalk. So there's a couple of things, right? How difficult is it to really source something that would fit a woman, especially if she's in space? But for whatever reason, that decision was made, and it wasn't possible. The other for me, Jim, is that there are moments, and you know this, you have a daughter. There are moments where when women's minds are brought together, we see the world in a different way, right? So I think that our world had to wait to benefit from what 2 female astronauts could do in a spacewalk. Now, we've had about 400 spacewalks. There's probably just been less than 10 that have been all female. And so I think that it's that number, right? It's that quantity that makes you realize, like, we are just not building yet for a woman's world.
So the book is called Man-Made. I saw you on national TV. I know you're on a kind of a book tour right now. It just came out recently. What could you say to the average person in the region why they would go out and buy it?
Well, I'm hoping that there's something in the book for everybody. If you're a consumer, if you're someone who uses these products, which we all are, and wears these products, especially if you're women, it's your right, it's your human right to have product that keeps you safe, where you feel hospitable, where it's hospitable and comfortable. Insist on product that fits you. In this day and age, I would say that we can let companies know when products aren't working for us, but we can also let companies know when they are. And so there are many examples in the book of firms, especially in the area of the trades and the military, were starting to design products for women. And I would say insist, right? Insist on products that fit. Be unapologetically demanding. If you're someone there that wants to go into design, architecture, engineering, which I hope, many young women will do, stay in that field, right? It's not always easy, but your opportunity to invent what's possible, to invent product that fits not just women but everyone better, is incredible. And I have to put in a plug for Purdue. There's no better school to study that, I think, in the U.S. than Purdue. And then if you're a business leader, if you're a CEO, if you're an investor, invest in women. Right? It's proven fact. We are 50% of the population. There are 4 billion of us on the planet. I want to encourage people that they can bank on women.
Adriana Alvarez is our producer here. I'm sure that you like the sound of Invest in Women. This is actually her podcast network. She talked me into it. I kind of didn't want to do it. I didn't want to take on the project. 22-year-old woman coming into kind of a male-dominated podcast industry. What would you tell Adriana?
Well, I would tell Adriana to be really confident in her voice, to try not to be the only woman in the room. Look around. Who else can you bring to the table? To ask for help. and to know that there are so many of us who have been through this labyrinth that are there cheering her on and there to support her. Also to trust her gut. It's not always all the data that brings you to a productive or profitable solution. It's a combination. It's a combination of the rigor of research and your gut instinct. And I would tell her to trust both.
Hey, Adriana, how'd you like that?
I mean, I would definitely say that I agree a lot with her, especially when she said to be confident in your own voice, because that is probably the most important thing. If you are able to have great communicative skills and you are able to carry yourself and just be confident in how you talk to people and how you get information across, that's probably one of the greatest life skills you can have, because when you have a great foundation of that, you can build on top of that. And I see that a lot in a lot of different individuals, especially with not only just in the world of communication, but also in other fields and a lot of male-dominated fields as well in the workforce, that there are women that if they are able to hold themselves and carry themselves well, then they can go very far in their careers.
Two region women, one who has demonstrated that, gone very far in her career, and then another one starting out a podcast network I didn't really want, but here it is, and it's growing way faster than I thought it would have. So could we go back to, before we head out, Karen, you grew up in the Calumet region. You grew up with George and Harriet, and you saw your dad working to build a roofing company, and then you went on to Inland Steel and worked there for a little while. What do you carry out of the region that you were able to carry into your career and become successful?
Well, I didn't follow in my father's footsteps, but I maintain the deepest respect for the trades. The world can't operate without them. And I want to say that we need not only more people in the trades, we need more women in the trades. I think what I learned most from both of my parents is to believe in what you're doing, to be kind, to listen, to understand, and to keep your feet on the ground. I never wanted to leave Hammond, Jim. If you talk to my brother, if my parents were still alive, I was a kid that never wanted to leave home. I loved Hammond and I loved the region. And so it wasn't always easy as I moved to Boston, to Munich, to Portland. But I always kept my feet on the ground, understood where I came from, and made family wherever I landed. Their lessons are with me every single day.
What'd you learn at Inland Steel?
Wow. Well, I learned a lot of things at Inland Steel. I learned what it takes to make things, right? Like what it really takes to build things. And I know that we're living in this digital world now, and we speak a lot about AI. But the fact of the matter is, you and I are both wearing clothes that were designed for our bodies. We're sitting at desks and in chairs. We're driving cars. The built world, the physical built world, is still very much part of our lives. And that's what I loved. My first job was in the No. 3 cold strip, where they were making the coils of steel for Detroit. And the scale of what that took just made me respect what you needed to learn and what you needed to know if you were going to make product. And I also learned that if we're going to mass produce, if we're going to be filling our world with things, those things need to be thoughtful, and they need to be respectful to the people and the planet.
Anything else you want to say to your hometown?
Oh, my goodness. Hammond, I love you. I acknowledge Hammond in my book. I thank the city for being at its core blue collar. And along with my parents, Hammond raised me. So thank you, Hammond.
Man-made. You can get it just about everywhere. Praise for Man-Made. It is a powerful and urgent call to action for the health and safety of half of our population. It's time we rethink the male body ideal and build a world that includes us all. That was written by a female doctor. Thanks a lot, Karen.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, everybody, for listening and watching. I'm Jim Deedlow, WJOB.
Come to Bands, Bikes, and Brews on Saturday, July 18th at Fox Point in Lansing, Illinois. A celebration of rock, motorcycles, and cold brews explodes at 3 p.m. with live music from Grindstone, Fatal Order, and Count 77. Rock out with headliner LA Guns. Rev up with special guest and bike judge Danny the Count Coker from the History Channel's